Hello, welcome to the I'm Angry podcast. You're on with Mike. Next to me is Matt.
What's up?
Over there is Johnny.
How's it going?
And across the table is the other Mike.
Hello.
However you're listening right now, try to give us a like, comment, or a review. Thanks a lot.
How's everybody doing?
Pretty good.
I'm doing well.
Pretty good.
A couple of guys around the table look a little beat up today.
I feel it.
Yeah.
I feel it. I got like 4 hours of sleep.
I-
Not that that's, I mean, that's like not that. I've slept less, but it's not great.
No, 4 hours is not great.
The painting sip turned into a wild night, huh? For you guys?
It was fun. I did so much better than I did last time.
Beautiful
Honestly.
pictures.
Oh,
I was
man.
going to say, where
I
are the
didn't even
pictures?
finish mine.
Mine's
Mine's
around
in my
somewhere.
car. No,
Oh.
it's in our car.
Oh,
Yours in there?
Yeah.
Okay, so later we'll get to see them.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah. I sent it with them.
Other cars
That's
in
all.
Brooklyn, but
The car's in Brooklyn.
Yeah, no, well, eventually it's going to come back.
It
Oh,
will- it'll
maybe
come
not.
back.
we'll just get,
Where's
we'll
yours?
just get back. Mine's home.
Why didn't you take it out? I want to see that.
You didn't ask. I would have shown you.
You didn't tell me. Again. I'm angry at you.
Don't be angry. Okay, so today I think what we wanted to talk about was what we're going to call it common courtesy. It's going to run across many topics, and it's really little things that happen in a day that we see or that everybody sees that just really kind of make you angry for the moment. I have a list here that I scribbled down, and we'll run through
That's
it.
not
as best we could.
scribble.
And only
Emphasis
you
on
can-
scribble.
Yeah.
I'll do my best to read my own handwriting.
When you
They
can't
call
read
that
your
chicken
own,
scratch.
when you can't read your own writing, that's really bad.
when you're a
That's
doctor.
really bad.
The first one we want to talk about it. We're going to talk about train etiquette. So one of our listeners sent us in, I guess a recommendation, a suggestion. People that don't move out of the door on the train, on the subways specifically. And
Assholes.
I'm not really. I don't ride like Metro North or anything like that, but I don't think there's a door problem there.
No.
But when you're on the subway train, I used to post up on the door. To be honest with you, I was a door guy.
It's fine.
I still,
But-
yeah.
but
I still
I
do
always
it.
I
step
get
out.
skinny on the side and
I
move.
step
Yeah.
all the way
That's
out.
my
I
question.
step off the
Yes.
train.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But some people stay in the door. And I remember, didn't you almost have a fight with somebody, or the guy wanted?
The guy was gonna stab me.
Yeah, the guy was
What?
gonna. Yeah.
Why?
Tell
I
the
didn't even.
story.
I was going to school. I went to school in the city, and I was taking the train in one day, like every day. And I was getting off the train. I stood up, put my backpack on, and I guess as I was turning, it was like kind of tight. I guess I truly don't to this day don't know what I did. I might not even have been me who bumped into the guy.
Yeah.
Like I didn't. It's a backpack, but you can usually feel it if it hits something.
Yeah, yeah.
And I guess as I was turning, it must have bumped him. And so I'm getting off, and somebody just starts yelling behind me, but it's a train in the city. Like I'm not, everybody that yell, I'm not assuming they're yelling at me. I get off, and there's still like noise. The doors close. I just turn normally, look back, and you see through the window of the train, and the guy's pointing at me and going like this. And he had like I mean it wasn't a gun. I assume it was a knife. There was like I don't
Yeah,
know,
like a
like a handle,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something. But he was already on the train, like it was starting to
was-
roll, but he was screaming, pointing at me, and I was like, I guess thank God I got off. Like I wasn't just
Yeah,
moving.
exactly.
All
And I
because
I think I just bumped him. I don't even.
Wow.
I didn't say anything to him. I wasn't causing a scene. I was just going to school. I just put my backpack
So-
on and got off the train.
So what
I
I'm
must have
feeling,
hit him turning, I guess.
he should be on the show because he's angry.
He was. He
He's
was.
angry.
That's pretty angry.
He was really. He looked. I mean,
Wow.
I didn't even. I wish I had known at the time.
What happened?
Because he
Yeah.
started yelling as I was getting off the train. I just thought crazy guy on the
Right.
train. I didn't even turn around. Like I wasn't listening to what he actually was saying. He was probably just saying, "Hey, you," like whatever. But
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
Not if
kill
he's
you.
not if he's pointing to the knife and his weight.
Yeah, no.
It's probably
No,
more
I
than
meant-
hey you.
well, I mean, like to get my attention. I'm sure he wanted to start a fight as
Did you have
opposed to just
headphones on or
attacking me.
something? Like you,
I don't even think I did. I heard him yelling. I just
Oh,
thought.
you just
I'm
ignored
saying,
him.
I was getting. You have how long do you have to get off the train? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm going
10
to
seconds.
school,
right.
so I'm just getting off, and then I just hear like a yelling. Like I said, I didn't mean to bump into the guy. It wasn't right here.
Are you
when he
apologizing
started
to him
yelling.
now? Sounds like you're apologizing.
No, I'm not apologizing. I don't even know what I did.
Well,
I'm
if you
just.
did-
It
if you
was,
did something wrong, it would be nice to apologize.
yeah.
if he got off the train, it would be like, whatever I did, I'm sorry.
They would have never finished.
Instead of getting
That
stabbed.
train station was always empty, right?
Yeah.
Your stop.
Yeah. Oh, there was like nobody around
no,
off
they-
the train. The
they-
train was crowded, but my stop wasn't.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was like one or two. It was close to a big stop, so it was either before or after. So that one was always like mine was always empty.
Yeah.
And the next one, the train was actually very crowded. So
Okay.
it happens though.
There was always fights on the train, like
Always.
people blocking things, and,
Absolutely.
and then the pushers. the people that push onto the train.
Oh, when the train's
Yeah.
packed
When it's super packed,
and
I'm
you're like
come
in a
on,
nice
there's
spot
really
and you're
no
like
more-
you're
there's really no
falling, you're
room.
so tight and your stuff falling over.
Yeah,
I
and
hate
it's like-
those always worst feeling.
You can't hold on to anything. Right?
And then you're mad. You're like pushing back.
Yeah, I know.
The bag
I
thing,
haven't been on
though,
a train in years.
The
man.
bag thing that he says, I always you did. See, I probably would have mad at you because I used to take my bag off and carry it on my side.
I picked
he
it up to
did,
get
he
off.
picked
Oh,
it up,
that's right.
normally
You put it
I just
on.
didn't- I
Right.
had it in between my legs. I picked
Okay.
it up to get off. Just
Because that is an annoying thing. Also, when they're on the train with the backpack.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean?
Especially
You need
when
that
it does
space.
get tight. Like
Yeah.
put it between your legs,
Yeah.
and we can fit 20 more
I
people
always
in the
did that.
car.
I will say I tend to put my bag I'll keep it in between my legs the same way, but I won't put it on the train. I'll carry it off the train.
No.
put it
I
back.
mean,
I'm kind of the
especially
same.
if it's crowded.
also,
I'm the same.
but I wasn't like a
carry it off the
Poindexter. I
train.
didn't have this like.
Well, I'm just
8-foot
saying.
backpack. Like I had two.
No, I'm
bags.
just
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
Like,
Still
each
two
almost, you
books.
almost got stabbed.
No,
for
I
it.
know. It could have
Seriously.
been anything else. Maybe he thought I looked at him wrong. Is my point. I don't know if it was the bag. I always assumed that I probably bumped him because he was like where I was
Yeah.
getting off. Where I saw him was where I was getting off the train. Like I walked past him.
He was in the doorway. Was he in the doorway?
No, he was like in the center. I was sitting. I got up to walk off. You know, you like walk kind of,
Maybe
left
he was
or
just
right.
mad that you had a seat.
and he was like up in front of me. Maybe, but there was other. I don't know. It was just
Oh
a
my
whole.
god! I mean, come on.
It was like a whole thing.
the trains. There's so much. There's
I
so
know.
much. Like, I don't think there's anything fun about them.
no.
I don't. Really, I mean,
No.
the
I don't
only
mind
thing
it.
they're cheap. It
Yeah.
gets you around.
I don't
That's-
know, and it's fast, way
I used
faster
to
than
hate
driving.
taking the
Yeah.
train. The stop I used to get on was you could call it the last stop or the first stop. I don't know what you want to call it.
Yeah.
But the first 3 cars were full of homeless people.
Always,
Mhm.
Oh my God.
always.
You know, that was like the last 2 years I was using the train. And after that, I started driving it. But man, it was terrible. Terrible. Like, I'm talking like 6 or 7 in each car. It was like,
You can get you're taking like a leap of faith every time
You are.
yeah.
you go because it could be fine. You know, like most of the time I take the train, it's fine.
Right.
It's not it's kind of it's dirty. I mean, it's a subway, whatever, but
Yeah.
it's not awful. You know, but then you can get a guy like shitting on the train.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you're just
Well, just general
there's nothing you can
crazies,
do.
man.
Yeah,
Like,
right, but
General crazy.
once that happens, if you get on that, if you're on that train car, you're just having a
You're
bad time.
stuck.
Like there's nothing you
Yeah,
can do. You're just having a
exactly.
bad time for that trip. So
Yeah.
I do think though for the etiquette part, like as far as I mean, I would do the stand in the corner of the door, like side of the
Yeah.
door.
I would do that.
And then people are getting off, step all the way out.
Step out.
Like
I'd move out. Right.
stay tight to the
Right,
door.
right around the
just
door and go
so you're
right back
there
in.
and then right
ring
back
around,
in. Yeah.
keep your foot in the door so they
Yeah,
can't
I just
close it
because
on
I
you.
just don't like getting buried, especially if I'm a couple stops. I don't
That's
like
the
getting
thing.
buried
Yeah.
into the center of the train car and then having to walk, through 30 people, whatever, to
Right.
get out. It's just easier. But
I agree.
I have a general feeling about the train that like it's nice to have, I guess proper train etiquette. It'd be nice if everybody did, but I think it's so not the standard that I think I suspend like the concept of etiquette when I get on the train. Like I don't
Yeah.
expect anything
You
of
don't expect
anybody.
anything,
Like I
yeah.
hope they get on. It annoys me every time somebody does these things, but I'm so like I don't think it's almost I expect them to do do the wrong thing. Everybody,
Yeah.
just like anytime I
think-
go.
I mean, I've been on a train in other places. You think it's just a New York City thing
I
that we have the bad etiquette?
I think
mean,
New
I've
York
been-
City is elevated. I think everybody does it, but they're not
Yeah.
as crowded as us. So
I
it's
don't
10
think
times.
it's they don't have I don't think it's that it's New York City doesn't have etiquette. I think New York City, especially for the trains, people like commuting, they just don't care. Like there's no, you know what I mean? It's mind your own business. It's like get on, get off wherever you're going. It's not nobody's paying attention to everybody around them. They're probably tired 8:30 in the morning trying to get in. Like nobody, so I feel like in New
it's
York,
not
it's just
general
I-
inconsiderateness.
not-
It's just
it's
general
just-
not paying attention.
No.
it's
I-
just
Is
it's
that-
just
I don't
kind
know,
of
I-
like
I think I've been on many trains in many countries, and
too.
it's similar. It's just lower down. The
I don't know,
only
I've never
train
known.
I've ever
Japan
been on,
was very nice.
I was gonna say Dubai was the only train I was like, wow, like
Every train I was on in Japan was like a library quiet,
really?
full of people, library quiet.
No talking,
No
no,
talk,
no,
like
no
none.
eating.
No,
Oh,
no
no
talking,
eating.
no eating.
You didn't have anybody.
Oh,
there
the
on the
eating
seat
thing.
with the tray.
Oh,
of
that's
food,
the
like-
worst. The
It was
worst.
pristine. Every single train I got on was pristine, clean. Like not even
Yeah.
there's like the bullet trains that are sort of our equivalent of like not a coach train. What are those called? Like Amtrak.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Nice
Yeah.
seats, kind of the equivalent
Yeah,
of a
yeah.
coach bus, whatever.
We
But
went on the
pristine, but not
bullet
even
train,
that. I
didn't
no,
we?
I did. I'm saying, but that one you expect, right? You go on
Yeah.
an Amtrak, you're like, it's not going to be a subway train.
Right.
But there, what would be subway trains are pristine,
Yeah.
clean as anything.
I mean, London
And
had
quiet.
regular, kind of subway feel.
London was the same to me. I felt like Paris was the same.
Yeah, Paris was the same.
Same
too. We
as
took
New
the
York.
train there.
Yeah,
Similar. I wouldn't say
not as I
people
said,
are
not
more
as
to
much.
themselves.
Right.
Like, they're not looking to start a fight.
Mhm.
Like I feel like you could always find somebody in New York City looking to start a fight with you.
Oh,
On the
guaranteed.
train,
Right?
especially.
If you're
yeah.
Yeah.
if you're looking,
If you
But
can
it
watch
didn't
every
feel that way.
train all day long, I'm sure there's some dramatic thing happening to
Yeah.
someone on that
Yeah.
train.
Yeah, but it didn't feel that way in other places.
But
You
the
know,
food thing, oh my gosh.
even the food thing.
I hate people that like the eating part is bad enough, but then when they take and just leave it on the
Leave it
floor,
on the floor,
and they leave.
you
I'm
know,
like,
a bag full of
there's
chicken
like
bones.
yeah, and always the drink and it's ever empty and it falls over and then the floor's all sticky. I hate that.
Yeah.
I
no,
can't stand the
like
gangs of
that.
teenagers.
Oh yeah.
I guess I used to be one, but it's
You're a gang of one, apparently.
but they're just so. I mean, every time
So loud.
loud,
So loud.
screaming with music. I'm like,
yeah,
this is
Yeah.
crazy.
I know.
That
You know?
doesn't bother me, but sometimes I get to the front
He was one of those kids.
and say, no, I wasn't. Because I took the train by myself. Nobody like.
You had no friends.
I had no friends.
I had
Just say it.
I had no friends that were able to take the train. That's why,
Nice
That's
way
why-
to spin it.
that's
Clean
why I
up.
started taking. That's why I started taking the bus with my friends eventually, and I stopped taking the train. But
Wait, you had
um,
bus friends but not train friends?
yeah.
That sounds so sad.
I don't know. So I usually took the train by myself, but like loud music or whatever. I had headphones anyway, but
Nostalgia.
sometimes they
It's
get to the
aggressive.
front
Yes.
and they get on the speaker, and they like say things, and that like
Oh. I
that
I
I'm
love
like
a good
is-
entertainment on the train too. Yeah, but that kind of drives me mental too. Especially those guys that
I love the
incredibly
Showtime
talented.
thing.
Those guys that like do the hat
dance
flipping.
too,
They
yeah.
they do all like Darren Price, but they take the whole train up because they
Yeah, I
they
mean,
do these
yeah.
wild runs up and down and like everybody has to move for them. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, back
Those-
up.
Those guys are good.
They are good. They're great to watch. But like I'm
But
like,
they don't make me angry. We'll move on to something.
I did see somebody get kicked
Because
one
we-
time.
Did you really?
Yeah, saw a lady
Wow.
get
It wasn't part of the show.
kicked. No, and not like not
No, I
like
know, I know.
kicked her. Like he was
No, I
spinning
know he was
around
spinning,
and
kicked,
she
I
got
get
caught. You know, he felt bad.
And
He
the thing they
apologized
say-
and stopped.
Yeah.
they always say that no one will get hurt.
Well,
before
before
the
you
show.
move on though, one big thing with I guess just in general travel and trains, buses, does it not drive you crazy? Because you spoke about this before. The whole thing of sitting in one seat and blocking the other seat from someone.
Oh yeah, put your bag on
Well,
the seat.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
then you got to ask
like-
them to move the bag.
That's my
I mean, that
biggest.
infuriates me.
That's my biggest
I
problem.
know
Yeah.
the express bus.
Is the worst.
There's an issue with that, right? Where people
Yeah,
like
they sit on the
they take
window
the outside.
side.
That's what same thing for
they
me.
sit on the window side and
And put their bag.
could you take the express bus too?
Well, no, but I take a bus that goes longer. But the same thing, mine is
I mean, either
opposite.
way, it would be the same.
They
but
sit in
everybody
the
sits-
aisle and then they put their bags on the other, and like people can't find, and they don't look up like, oh, I'm gonna overtake my bag. They just sit there and
pretend
ignore.
nobody's there.
They
It's
pretend.
insane.
It's so rude.
That's crazy.
So rude.
inconsiderate.
Yeah.
Very
You know?
I hate that.
Yeah.
My bus usually is sit on. Everybody sits on the window side, has the bag on the aisle seat, and I'm walking down. I'm like, there's 8 people. I walk past 8 people with bags.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not trying to be the person who has to ask anybody to move their bag.
Right.
They
Right.
should all just move their bag when people get on the bus.
100%.
Like that's not crazy to ask
100%.
for. And you got to take the sort of roulette chance of who I sit next to who loses their extra seat.
Yeah.
Right.
You got.
Or
You
who-
just gotta.
Or who's
Like,
got
I
the
mean-
knife in their pants?
Yeah,
again.
yeah, I guess. Hopefully not on the express bus. I don't know.
Well, we mentioned
Try to avoid
food on the trains.
Yeah.
So I think we'll move on to smelly foods in the office. Right now, I know
hate
everybody's
this.
got their own style cooking. You know, there's different types of food, and
Yeah.
we all know the one that I can't take
There's
for whatever
one.
reason.
It better be the same one. Has to.
No, I can't. I could never take the smell of the Indian curry, like the strong
it's not
Indian
mine.
curry.
But okay,
You know,
I feel that one.
I can't. I just never could, and I try, and it's the only thing
It's
in
a
life
strong
I
smell.
can't. I can't like get
Get
myself
into
to.
it.
Yeah.
I think anything
No, I
would
definitely
like,
can't eat. I can't even smell it. I don't know what it is.
mine is seafood.
Just in general.
Well,
well,
seafood reheats terribly.
it
as well.
should
yeah.
never
reheating,
be.
You put seafood in a
Microwave.
Microwave of salmon. It's
You know,
It's
awful.
horrible.
Yeah.
And then the
I mean,
microwave
that's-
smells like it for a month.
That's only second to like burnt popcorn, because
Oh yeah, that's another.
I mean,
bad
it's, popcorn generally is not a smelly food, but if you burn it
They
in a
burn it.
microwave,
Yeah.
you're done. Yeah, seafood reheated in a microwave is not good, man.
I've worked
Yeah.
at jobs where they had to have put signs up with "Don't microwave all these certain things" because it did smell up the whole office.
Yeah.
So I never saw curry on that one though.
You know, I have a coworker who eats just Greek yogurt, and I feel bad even being annoyed by it. You know, because it's like
Right.
it's not a reheated fish.
Right.
You know, it's just Greek yogurt, but it's so pungent. And they eat it almost every day. And I'm sitting there every day at lunch. I'm sitting at my desk. And I'm like, this is.
You're
Like,
getting rid-
I'm thinking as hard as I can to have him not smell it. Like focus on something else. There's nothing I can do. And I'm like, it's just yogurt. He's not even
Yeah.
doing it. Like it's not even that bad. But I put that down because I was like, it still bugs me.
Wow.
Like I can't get mad at him. He's not doing anything wrong. But
I know
for whatever.
guess-
and I don't even.
know.
It's
I
just
mean, is
yogurt.
it something you really be angry about? Like,
I think so. Not mine. I was
mean-
just using mine
He's not.
to air my grievance.
Because, like I said,
Reheated fish.
He's not
makes
angry
sense.
at him. He's more angry that it's
that
bothering
I
him.
have like
that,
it's
that-
that
and
you
it's
have to put up with it.
yeah, and he's not doing anything wrong. Like I'm not
Right,
mad
right.
at him. It's just yogurt.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say is, I think you definitely have a right to be angry about like the reheating fish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Crew. I was just saying mine is a personal grievance that I wanted
right.
that I wanted to air. Mine wouldn't be a thing I feel a right to be angry about, but definitely if somebody's reheating or just like a smelly food like tuna, right? Well, tuna's fish, but like, a tuna sandwich. I mean, not reheating. Like if somebody's eating tuna or egg
Like I said,
salad every
but there's,
day,
like,
Yeah.
I mean,
you know, it's like on a plane. Somebody breaks out a.
dude, I was on a plane, a small plane. You know, we were going just from one place to another in Italy or whatever, and it was either I don't really know Jewish food very well.
Gefilte fish.
Either gefilte fish or pickled herring. One of the two.
Pickled herring isn't Jewish, is it?
I think it is.
I thought that's like just a what's it called thing.
I don't ask me. I know nothing.
Herring isn't that like
no, I think.
what's that
Matt,
part of the world? Scandinavia.
look it up.
Listen, I can't.
I know
I
gefilte
can't say
fish
what
is.
it
I thought
was.
gefilte fish
I
was
only
that.
know that the guy that was eating it was definitely Jewish because he was Hasidic Jewish.
Right.
Believe you know what I mean. And man, it was terrible. The smell was terrible.
Was
you
it
know.
his own food that he brought?
Yeah, yeah.
Really?
The rules are different
I
in
see.
Europe. you
So
know.
it's associated with Ashkenazi Jewish cuisine.
Oh,
Pickled
There you
herring.
go.
See
I
that?
didn't know that.
Pickle here. There you
It
go.
was bad.
Hell
But,
yeah.
what,
But
what's
stuff like
the,
that, like-
but what's the alternative for people? Like, if they want to like bring food in the office, they should bring like non-smelly food.
I
Like,
guess it's tough because
you know,
like
it's
So we're
hard,
talking
right?
about common courtesy, and it's the
It-
thing. It's
that's
like
the
you have to
thing.
take a bit of a hit, right? You want to
Right.
eat tuna salad or
Right,
reheat
right,
your
right.
salmon. You got to take a bit of a hit so that the rest of your office doesn't have to smell it. It's just like a thing that you do, not because they like for them.
Right,
They're
right,
like
right.
I don't get it. It's just egg salad, whatever. But if somebody doesn't like it,
I love egg salad.
you know,
too.
I love egg salad too.
I have. This
I
is
know
a question
eggs
because
can be
I haven't.
smelly, but I love them.
I haven't gone through this, but it just made me think of it. I know you know. This is a show, The Office. You guys might have seen. It's like very
Yeah,
famous
yeah.
older show, whatever.
We know it.
The whole
And-
world knows the office.
I don't know. Well, whatever. And on it, one of the characters, Pam, gets pregnant at one point, but she's working, and she says to like the whole office, she's like, "I'm especially sensitive right now,
Right.
So if you could please like not eat these certain like, it's a comedy show, obviously,
Right,
so
yeah.
like certain people are intentionally eating gross food,
Right.
it becomes this sort of like beef thing. But I'm wondering in real life if that actually happens. I know a lot of women will take maternity leave nowadays. I've just never been in
Oh,
the
yeah.
office. Like, would they? I just mean for this instance, right? Like common courtesy being
Please don't.
normally
do that,
there's a
'cause it's
level.
gonna make me,
Like normally
yeah.
there's kind of a
Oh.
level. There's
Yeah.
like a natural,
You think
and then
if
if there's like a pregnant woman in the office, or just somebody, I don't know, anybody who would be more, because I can understand how a pregnant woman is more likely to be sensitive to smells
Right.
and throw up.
Right.
So in that regard, like, then you have to,
I
would that be okay?
I don't know if they
asking
would.
that of a person.
I think. Listen. Okay, so I don't think. I'm thinking about this, and I was like, you can't really be angry about the smelly food, but you could be angry about not cleaning the microwave when they're done,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and the refrigerator stuff that gets left in there forever, right?
Mm.
That's something that you could be angry about because that
the microwave
That's
definitely.
more
I think you
avoidable.
can get.
I mean,
I
listen,
think
I might
you
heat
can
something
get
up.
mad about smelly food.
I don't know.
I
'cause
think
I
I
might eat
absolutely
something up that
can.
smells perfectly fine to me, but someone else might have
Yeah.
an aversion
Because sometimes you don't even know.
to that.
But
you know
the-
what I'm
gotta-
saying?
there's a
It's
bit-
kinda
That's
not
what I
fair.
think. I
Sure,
agree
but
with
there's
that. Like,
a bit of a objective smell.
right, like curry, maybe
thing.
not. Maybe certain people get because that maybe. But seafood, I think collectively everybody can be.
Well, I
mad
think
at
if
that.
you
Yeah, I mean,
reheat-
it can.
I think if
smell
you're
a
gonna
little
put seafood in the microwave, you shouldn't. You know,
bit.
like that's
If you're gonna put seafood in the
that's-
microwave, you shouldn't.
you
Is that what
shouldn't
you're
do it,
saying?
yeah.
See, so the
'Cause-
four of us agree on that one.
No, because
so.
I feel
Yeah.
like that one. I agree with what you're saying. That like most of the time, some especially the yogurt, like you can't complain. Somebody's just
Right.
bringing in
Yeah.
food they probably don't know.
Right.
But like everybody knows, putting seafood in the
Seafood
microwave is
is-
gonna be
Absolutely.
it's gonna be
It's
like
gonna-
explosive.
yeah.
So you just shouldn't. You just shouldn't do it. I mean, like you should just know that it's gonna. And if you do have to for whatever reason, that's the only thing you'll eat. You're right. Clean it. Just take the time, clean it up. Like you're not in a rush.
Because there's nothing to, there's nothing to keep the smell from being out there. And like I said, like I eat a lot of garlic, and some people might not like the amount of garlic that they smell.
Yeah, I just think you have to tamp down sometimes your own.
I never
Like, you
did
can
bring
know,
smelly
though.
food into the office, by the way, because I just never would want to be put on the spot.
Yeah.
that I was the one that
Yeah.
smelled up the office. you
Yep.
know?
Yeah, I completely understand. Like to anybody eating it, generally they probably think it doesn't. It smells good. Obviously, or
Yeah.
they wouldn't be eating. Like nobody smells.
Right,
Eats
right.
things that things smell terrible
Right, right,
constantly.
right, right.
But I also think that there's a sort of a objective. Like I understand how this food is a smellier food,
Yeah.
right? Like cheese, like moldy cheese, right? Blue cheese you might like it, but you know it's known as that's a bad smelling
Right.
food.
Yeah,
There's certain things that are, despite the fact that you might like it, you can understand objectively. Like I get how
no,
it's not
I mean blue cheese. does
everybody's
smell, but
everybody's
it's-
thing.
Right.
It's an acquired taste. you know.
I'll
But
throw
it
up now.
does
Let's
smell
move on.
good.
Actually,
All right, let's see. I'm just gonna go down the list.
That's the
maybe
thing
in
I'm
no
angry about.
particular order.
Blue cheese?
mold. How do you eat
Oh,
mold?
oh.
What is that whole thing with cheese? I don't get that. I've never understood it. It's
So-
mold.
Cheese
So you don't like any cheese?
It is. You know, it's
I'm not a
funny.
big cheese guy. I
Really?
like mild, like American cheese on a burger,
Really?
mozzarella.
I was
That's
watching.
it. I don't.
So you don't do
not
a cheese
guy.
board?
No.
I was
No.
watching this.
No, I'll eat
You
the,
neither.
I'll eat the prosciutto and salami off like a
Right.
charcuterie board, but no, I'm
I
not.
was watching
it's
this
gross.
French-
It's gross.
French
Interesting.
chef guy, right? And one of the things that as a kid, his father used to make it. They took all the cheese they had out of the refrigerator, right? And they would combine it with wine and make it into a spread, right? And he said it doesn't matter what cheese it is. Like he even threw a slice of American cheese in it when he did it. But that's what he said. He's like, if there's a little mold on here, just peel it off. The rest of the cheese is fine. It's mold anyway. So it is. It's
Wow.
it's good. Cheese
It's
is
an
good.
insane.
I
It's an insane thing.
I've become a cheese lover in the last like 5-6 years. Like I said, I didn't need a lot of
More
them.
so in the last 3 months when he first experienced those little flower buds from
Oh, those things are
Trader
delicious.
Joe's.
Trader Joe's.
Delicious. I gotta find them again. I gotta
Yeah,
get
I
them.
haven't seen them.
I might have to chop at Trader
I don't
Joe's
even know what
today
you're talking about.
because now I need the gummies too.
You better get over
They
that.
have
It was
them.
only like 3 bags.
They
left.
have them.
If they have them.
Oh,
The Valentine's one.
damn it, Trader Joe's.
Oh,
All
well.
right. So the 2 upcoming ones are kind of similar in nature. Person with no stuff holding a spot for somebody online. Whether it's a grocery store or department store, whatever it is. And then a person holding a parking spot, which I used to run into, not very often, but sometimes.
Those are
in Brooklyn.
the worst.
The first one is weird to me to get mad at. The second one
No,
makes
no.
sense.
I just
understand,
had
but
this the other day. Actually, I was in
You should
Aldi.
have filmed it. You should have
I
filmed
should
it.
have filmed it. I was in
Yeah.
Aldi, and there was a guy in front
Can't
of
film
me
random people.
just standing.
Well,
you
can
can in
blur-
public.
You can blur them
You can.
out.
Yeah,
You can blur them
Can in public.
Just
No, you don't have to
bad
blur
taste.
them
No,
in
you
public.
can't- yeah,
in
you-
public,
you
there.
can't
I
film
wouldn't do it.
somebody.
We're talking about
I
common
wouldn't.
good.
I wouldn't do it.
We're talking
I
about common courtesy.
Yeah,
I would say
no,
not
like
to
film
record.
No, I
Yeah,
wouldn't do
yeah.
it. 'Cause
Well, if
after
you're
Johnny
break-
I know you
tells his
can,
story,
legally.
If you're giving us an angry topic, you're getting filmed.
But no, I don't
But-
get getting angry at the first one. That's weird.
So I was in Aldi and I was done shopping and I get on the line and there was this gentleman in front of me with nothing in his hands, no cart, nothing. The people in front of him were pretty much checked out, like done. And he's just standing there and I'm like, hello?
wait for his
And
partner
he's like,
with the goods.
1 second. Like 2 minutes have gone by and now his wife comes with the cart and stuff. And I'm just like, dude,
So
like,
that's different.
no, it's the same. And I'm like,
That's exactly what we're talking
Oh,
and I'm
about.
like,
okay.
and I'm
I
like,
thought you
wait,
holding-
no,
no.
they're holding a
I
spot.
thought, no, I thought you meant someone standing in line, and then like while they're waiting online, the person comes back and joins them. Not they held
No.
up the line for 2
No,
minutes.
I mean that's
That's another version.
holding
I don't
up
like
the
that.
that's
line
another
is worse.
version. It's
holding
not
up
as bad.
the holding up the line is bad. But
No.
to me, like he's waiting online, their shop, whatever. The only thing about the line is that like that would make me mad is if someone didn't wait online. But this person did wait. They did wait on the line.
No, someone else
Like,
shopping, he
holding
stood
up the
there.
line-
Like, that's
So-
still
yeah, but
wrong.
you
I
can
feel like
do-
it's
As
wrong.
long
You
as
can
you
do that too.
I think as long as you hit it in time that you're not stopping
I
it.
agree. Yeah.
No.
It doesn't
Because
matter.
there
You're
would
waiting
always, like,
online.
There would
Who
always be
cares?
There's one
somebody in
person
front
that
of you
always be
anyway.
somebody, or
I don't-
You know
or you'd
what
be
it
one
is?
person closer.
You know
Wait,
what
wait.
makes it wrong?
I hope you're going to say what I'm going to say.
It's because you don't know if they're showing up one item.
That's it.
Or a zillion.
Exactly.
Items. You
But
don't know
that-
if you're behind
Exactly.
the person with
I
one
pick
thing.
my aisle by how short
But
it is.
that-
You
And
get
that guy
there-
has 50
right.
items. Now I'm like, I could have went to that aisle.
You
That only
see-
had
You
10.
see someone standing there, you're assuming they have 1 or 2 things
Yeah.
in their hand. You're not doing a
Right.
full examination.
Yeah, fair enough.
Then the
I-
partner shows up.
That's
with a
exactly.
I
bag
guess so.
full
I
of
mean,
Yeah.
I don't
I
go
see
to
that.
like ones where like I
Wrong.
choose the line based
Oh, you
on
have
how
to.
many items there
in
are
and
because
out.
it's just self
That's how I
checkout.
do
So
it.
there's one
In and
line.
out.
So there's just one line that goes to a bunch of machines. So I guess that makes sense. But like for me, like let's say going to self checkout, it's one line. Mike's right. There's gonna be somebody there anyway. Otherwise, there wouldn't
I
be a
know,
line.
it's just the number of items
It's-
thing. I think
and
it's really
so-
like,
I get that, but I never like go to cashiers like that anyway. I like just
Well,
go to the self checkout.
I don't go to self checkout grocery
doesn't
shopping
really-
because my hour trip would be
doesn't
4-hour trip because everything doesn't weigh itself right. They have to come over. I got to show ID,
I just go to
scan
the
it, walk away,
self-checkout
and
anyway.
the card's always on a frying pan. They stick it. Well, it's so annoying. I just
frying
go
pan,
back to the person. Like, no, you do this because you're just gonna have to come over anyway. It's so
And then they don't
aggravating.
smile at you. and you-
They don't,
you
and they
walk
seem
smile
they
at
get
you.
annoyed when they walk away and have to come back a
That's
minute
true.
later,
That's
and
true.
then mad at me. I'm like,
I've had that before. Real quick side note. I was self checkout and I was getting alcohol, and like so, just in my cart, whatever. And they have to come over. I was doing self checkout, but they still have to come and scan your ID.
Right.
And so I had gotten like bread or whatever, and it didn't work and messed up the thing. So they had to come over. And I was like, I'm also getting. I told them while they were there, I'm like, I'm getting a 6-pack. I didn't say like, so wait. I just said that.
Right.
And they're like, okay. And then they walk away.
And they had to come
And then I
back.
immediately. It's
Like,
like the
grab
last
the
thing. I
6-pack.
grab it like they walk away. I'm like, I was saying, I'm about to scan this item. I
Yeah.
was hidden through the thing. I was like, I'm saying stand here.
Right.
It's about to do the same thing. They walk away.
Well-
They're like not even, like they're like 10 feet away. They hadn't
Yeah.
made it all the way back to where they were standing before they had to turn around. I was like, I tried.
Dude,
That's a people not doing their job thing.
Yeah, well, I
Yep,
wasn't angry. It was more
exactly.
funny. I think
that
they were
is
just
funny.
they probably
weren't paying
they probably just
attention.
weren't thinking. They were probably whatever.
At least
that was
your-
just a side.
at
Which
least
is
your
always
thing-
causes the problems.
you have to show an ID. Every time I go and buy beer, the same thing. They come over and they just ask me my birth year, and then
Oh,
they do it.
type it in.
I'm like, why are we going through this then?
Right.
They
Like,
started
just let me do
scanning
it
my
then.
ID.
Like, you don't have
Actually
to scan
scanning
it.
now.
Yeah.
I mean, like recently at Stop and Shop they have,
Oh, maybe that's a new thing.
as opposed to inputting it. But nonetheless, I was gonna say back on track. I think both of these things, right? They're both saving spots. One parking, one whatever. I think they're both okay in like
What?
certain amounts. You need to. There's like tact.
No.
Like okay, I think what Matt was saying. If you're online, if I'm online,
Mhm.
if you go in and you're like, hey, you go get in line. I'll start shopping. I'll meet you at the front. Whatever.
No.
That's messed up. Like that's just why. Like what are you speed racing it?
That's what they do.
Right, which that is, I would say intentionally, breaking common courtesy or
Right.
whatever, what everybody assumes you would do, the right way to act kind of thing. But if you're online, you're like, oh, I forgot something, let me run and get it, you stay, that's normal, like that's fine.
That's all right.
That's okay.
But then be
That's-
back
I
with
understand
the-
it's
No,
different than
that's
holding
fine.
a
Be back
spot.
with
I know
the
it's
item.
different.
Well, I think
Right,
once
right.
you start holding up
Because
the
again,
line,
I already
you
know.
should
I already
forfeit.
know the person in front of me what they have.
Right.
One extra item's not hurting.
No, that's not gonna hurt me.
A guy with one item that then the basket shows up.
It's
that
like
hurts.
50
I
items.
feel like at a certain point you're paying way too much attention to how many items other people are getting.
It's about getting in and out.
Matt is not angry
Yeah,
enough.
Matt doesn't do enough shopping. That's
That's
You
why.
why.
guys
Yeah,
are
that's
paying-
fine.
I mean,
Wait
like,
till you
I don't
wait
do
till you're
that.
filling
I
up your
will
fridge
say
yourself.
I
You're
go,
gonna
I
feel
go
it.
to Stop and Shop a lot, like multiple times a week, but I never get like one big. 'cause
Right.
I go multiple times.
You
a
get a
week.
handful of things.
But I just feel like here's my perspective, right? You're saying that they're cheating by going online while someone else shops.
Yeah.
I think you're kind of cheating by watching how many items people have and trying to get on the fastest line. You know what I mean?
That's nitpicky.
Like
No,
you're,
that's
I
not-
feel like
Thank you.
That's normal. You do that.
I think that's
too.
normal, but I also
course you
think
wanna
it's
get on the
normal.
fastest
I
line.
also think it's normal to have someone wait there while
No,
while you
it's not
get,
normal.
you
If it
know,
was normal, everybody.
I don't think you should do it
Matt
from the
goes several
beginning.
times a week to Stop and Shop. Guaranteed, he goes like when the slowest part of
Yeah,
the day.
yeah.
I mean, no, it gets
They got
crowded, but like I
18
said,
that are
I'll
just
do
zoned
I'll do
out.
11
self
a.m.
checkout.
11 a.m. on a Wednesday.
I'll do self checkout no matter what. So if I'm waiting in line, I'm
But
waiting
you're
in the self
generally,
checkout
I
line.
think you're generally an impatient guy.
Me?
I think you are.
I don't know. I don't like. I don't know.
He's so
It
late
doesn't
and
anger
slow.
him.
Why would he be?
No, I think he's generally impatient.
Matt standing
I
in line
don't
is
like.
like
I
extra
don't like
time
to wait
chill.
on lines. I will say that.
Oh,
I,
that's
I don't like lines.
hell.
I-
That's
yeah.
my own personal.
I
hell.
don't like lines. That is true. I will wait on them if I have to, and I'm not going to complain about it. But I'll avoid them as much as possible.
But that's exactly
Um,
what we're doing by trying to eye up
Exactly.
the
But
right line.
but like what I'm saying is if I tried to do that, like it's kind of like when you're driving and there's like the lane that's open, you take it and then it ends up actually being more backed up, and then you
Right.
see the lane next
Yeah,
to
you
you
jump
moving,
back and forth.
and then I'm kind of like when that happens, I'm kind of like,
Should've
all
just
right, I
rolled
deserve
it.
that. Like
You
I
deserve
I went over, that's how I feel about you guys taking the shorter line,
That's
and then
fair.
there's someone ends up with some items. It's like, all right, I
Wait.
tried to do
that's
it,
fair. So let's talk
it didn't
about
work out.
parking.
The
spot
park one.
holding.
The parking
talk
stuff,
about
that's
that.
annoying. Yeah,
Because you know,
I think it
Those-
depends.
it's
He
first
doesn't-
come,
What
first
is it?
served.
What
It depends.
How-
There's a
that's
lot of
so rude.
situations.
But what if you're in a parking mall, like the big
Because-
ones, and someone gets out and runs up and
So,
like,
okay.
how's that loud?
Yeah, I think it's not. It's the worst case, right?
The worst
Like, when-
case is they get
when-
run over.
No. By worst case, I mean when it's the most angering, right? You would say is
In
like
a
if I'm
parking lot.
going to a mall,
Yeah.
and I'm in a parking lot, and there's no parking, so somebody's like, oh, I'll get out, run across, and grab that spot
Right.
before these other cars get there.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna stand there, and our car's back here.
Right.
That's not cool.
That's
you
what
know?
they do.
But right, that one not cool with. I'm saying there's
Right.
other situations though, to parse out. Like, I think it's okay if you're at a game in a parking lot. It's okay to save the spot next to you. Like a
For
tailgate.
tailgating.
Oh,
That's fine.
That's okay.
I know.
That-
I'm
that's-
saying it depends on the
Well,
I'm
thing.
talking.
I think there's
No.
also that's fine.
Let me
I
explain
think there's
what I'm
also if
talking
you're
about.
driving, if
I'm-
there's 2 cars, right? You're caravanning it.
Yeah.
Convoying wherever you are, it's always okay to save one more spot.
In a game,
You know what I mean?
game idea, what you're saying, that reference is okay because there should be lots of spots.
That's right.
But where it does bother me, like if I have to go way out of the way because everybody took those second spots, if they're also waiting for another car and they eventually take that spot, I might be a little. Most of them don't do that. They just take the spot for their tents, their drinks, and the game starts. They break it up, and all those spots are still empty.
I mean,
That's-
for the car.
that's
I mean,
wrong.
somebody
Yeah.
else is coming with
It's
the
so-
second car.
that
and
I
you're like,
kinda have
hey,
a little
we're
respect
at
That's
C
fine.
whatever. I'm gonna save
My
the next.
reference to this is
the
not
next
really
row.
so much parking lots and stuff, but when I used to drive around Brooklyn,
Oh, even streets.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's when
Yeah.
it bothers
I
me.
used-
If I'm driving around sometimes for an hour
Mm.
looking for a spot, and I just didn't get around the corner in time
Right.
for a car to pull out. The car pulled out, and somebody's standing in there waiting for that person to come back around.
Right.
Mhm.
I didn't have a second person.
Yeah,
with me.
I have to
But
say
what
that's
you're
one thing-
saying, on top of that, the people that then put the trash cans or a bin in those spots as
Oh,
well.
people that hold their spots.
Yeah, that
He's
that's,
okay with
that's
that.
one thing I've
No.
changed.
You're not okay with that?
No,
Somebody's protecting their driveway.
their driveway.
well, the
their
driveway's
property.
different.
Driveway
Driveway's
Driveway's their
different.
property. You got to be
Alright.
able
Yeah.
to get in and out.
Okay.
Yeah,
You know how many times I shoveled my driveway out? Nice clean spot for my car, and then because there's snow everywhere,
right.
somebody parks in it.
Oh, really?
Terrible. That's like
That's,
the worst.
I would have them towed.
That's
Oh, that's
something
the
I've
worst.
changed on because I used to do that. I like
Do what?
for my friends. I would hold the spot, like stand. I mean, they were just going around the block, but like I
That's
but it's
rude.
wrong.
But then I realized like it kind of is like a first come
It
first
is first
serve
come,
thing.
first
like
serve.
yeah, you should
Because I know,
definitely
like, if I lose the spot to the car in front of me because I didn't get around,
that's fair.
That's
yeah.
fair.
that's the game.
That's the game.
Yeah.
But for you to get
That's-
some, that's the game. It is. I'm not
That's
kidding.
just a funny way to say it.
It
We're
is the
talking about
game.
parking. You're like, that's the game.
That's the
Yeah,
game.
no,
I
that's
had a
fair,
fight
lovable
with
That's
a
one thing
guy
I-
one
I
day
changed
because he
on,
took
yeah.
the spot. He saw me waiting for it, and he took the spot. And I'm like,
How did he get in front of you?
I'm nonviolent. I tell you guys this all the time. I don't remember exactly how it happened. Oh no, that's what it was.
You said you were waiting.
I
don't
was
know.
sitting because somebody. So this is what it was. Person came.
You guys all right?
I worked in a
I can't find his.
Looking
in
for
a,
my
in
water.
a building that had a Target in it. So the Target people would come out of their 8 o'clock shift or whatever, and they would leave. So this girl every day would come out, get in her car, right? And I would sit and wait for her to leave.
Mhm.
Well, this day I'm sitting and waiting for her to leave, and her friend pulls up and he takes the spot. And I'm like, dude, I was waiting here the whole time.
But where were you waiting? Like
'Cause
how
the
close
girl
were you?
was
Like
in
he
her
weaved
car.
around
They,
you?
they play the swap game.
Yeah, they played a swap game. Like she kind of blocked me out. Like,
Mhm.
normally she didn't do that, but whatever. So I just simply said to him, after we argued back and forth a little bit, I said, all right, you know what? Leave your car there. Fine.
That's the worst feeling because you don't know what's going to happen.
He said, you know what, pal, just take it.
well, then
but
you
no.
have to worry too.
but it is a game that, it's definitely a game
That's
that
the
you
game.
play.
That's the
And
game.
sometimes you lose. Like,
Yeah, no, yeah.
you drove around that block 7 times, and then the guy in front of you just happens to get the spot. But someone
Yeah.
standing in the spot rubs me the wrong way, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even when you're saying like how you described that, like you ever go to parking lots and you're waiting for a spot and the car backs out, but you have to back up a little bit,
Yes.
to let them out, and then the car
And the
comes
other
down,
come
other
that way.
takes it. Oh
Well,
my
yeah.
God,
That's why I always
Well,
got
that's
blinker
definitely
on.
bad.
ready
that's
to go.
what, and they do that, and
Yeah.
they know you're
Yeah.
waiting for it.
If
I'm
you're-
like,
if you're saving a spot in a parking lot or waiting,
yeah,
it's a problem.
Yeah, I think
Because-
crowded parking lots bad. Like I understand,
It's
or,
always bad.
or
Yeah.
the situation where there's clearly no parking in an area, and you're like, "Hey,
See,
run
I'm
and
not-
get that spot." What I'm saying is, I think it's okay in general. Like if we're caravanning upstate, and I get there first to any area, parking lot or whatever, and I mean, if there's only one spot, I'm not getting out of my car and saving the spot. I'm
Yeah.
parking, and there's a spot next to me, and I'm like, I'll save this one for them. They're gonna park
no,
somewhere,
No, I don't
but
like.
they're gonna also
But in
park
your-
somewhere.
but okay,
they
let's-
have a car
I
that's
mean,
gonna
listen,
be somewhere.
Let's
If-
put
if
your
it's- why
logic.
not
Say
next
you're
to me?
going to like a camp. I don't know if campsite's the right description I want, but like you get there before all your family. You have 4 cars coming,
No, you can't do
right?
4.
But even 2.
No,
but now you
max
take
1.
the 2 best spots.
I'm telling you,
and
max 1. You get 1 extra spot.
No, I don't like
That
that.
is reasonable.
Because then someone comes 10 minutes later and they're forced to be further away
I'm
from
not-
the.
It
from
depends.
the
It
This
depends
tact,
on
like
what
this
the parking
certain-
lot
If it's
looks
an hour
like.
and a half, I'm not going to sit out there. and
I'll
put
be
a
okay
chair.
with that.
It
I'll
depends
be-
what the parking lot
If there's
looks
2
like.
spots that have the best view and you're holding one, like no, you can't.
I'm not.
I don't know.
Listen, if it's a parking lot and there's tons of spots, I'm not.
Yeah, that's
I don't,
what
I don't
I'm
need,
saying. It
I don't
doesn't
need
really-
closest to the store.
That's
as
what
long
I
as I
think.
can get a
I think
spot.
if the
Right.
parking lot is empty,
If there's 2 spots left in the thing,
you shouldn't hold
and
it.
you're holding a spot for somebody,
You should
and
never
I'm
hold the
there,
last spot.
right? If
And,
you hold,
and
you know,
you shouldn't be sending somebody as a scout to grab a spot.
Right.
What I mean is if there's a group thing going on, 2 cars in any situation, and you park somewhere, I
Yeah.
think it's okay to try to save the spot. for
Okay,
me.
so if
Look,
you,
if somebody
Try.
comes up to me,
Right.
You're gonna.
I was
get
gonna
I'm
say-
get
I'm
give it
always
up. So
gonna-
you're not really holding it.
that's what I'm asking. If you're
I'm gonna
holding
stand
it,
there. If they drive by, good. If they
Right.
ever stop and say, "Can I get that spot?"
You're
Of
not,
course, because the
you're
car's
not
not.
gonna
Okay,
You're not gonna
of
lay
course.
down on the spot. Right
then I'm
there.
okay with
no,
that.
of course I give it up if they ask.
All right, so
I'm
that's my
hoping they
question.
drive by.
Right, right.
If
right.
anybody stops, say, "Are you, whatever?" I'll say, "No, you can take it." They're not here
Okay,
yet.
then that's fair.
Like,
I'm
they
okay with
lose.
that.
You
I
know what-
agree with the.
You know
the
what
game.
happened to me yesterday? I was making a right turn, and I was going to pull into so the right turn, and then the parking lot is right there, right? So this is Trader Joe's.
Again,
Yeah, it's Trader Joe's.
Can you
Shout
just
out.
That's the
call
worst.
me?
That is the worst parking
It
lot.
is
That is
terrible.
the worst
planet
parking
But
lot.
it's
someone
awful.
someone coming the other way,
That was
then
me.
right, he's making the left off the street.
Right.
He makes the left in front of me.
Huh?
Right?
Cut you
So-
Can I
off.
cut you off?
I'll cut you off.
Cut you off.
Kinda, but it was like it was kind of a situation where I was kind of caught up. I'm like, do I let him go in?
Yeah, because you have the right of way.
But as he pulls in, someone right in front of the store pulls out of a spot.
He got the spot.
Oh, and you just got unlucky.
And I'm thinking
That's
to
the
myself,
game.
I'm like, you should give me that spot, dude, because I let you in. Like,
Right.
I allowed you to make your, like, I could have cut him off.
Right.
I said, no, I'm in line for this thing. So that's kind of rude.
Yeah.
Like, he, not so
Yeah.
much like I let him in. He should have gave me the courtity.
I
Yeah.
guess.
It's tough. People don't pay
That's a hard
But he
one.
No,
probably
That's a hard
wasn't.
one. Yeah,
he
that's-
probably wasn't paying.
he probably just
attention.
turned.
He
He
probably
didn't-
wasn't
he
looking
probably
into
didn't
where
look
you
at it.
were
Because I feel
going.
bad sometimes. I get in front of somebody and like I get the green light and they get stuck in the red light and I'm like, he let me in and now I got him stuck at the light because I would feel bad about that too.
I think you're overthinking it. Like he probably didn't think, "Oh,
He
this guy
pro-
let me in."
our
Or,
He
job-
wasn't
if somebody
thinking
Our
lets you
job
in,
is to overthink everything.
He,
Well, I
he
get that.
probably
I get
he
that.
probably
That's the
realistically
really-
was going in. He's like, this place is crowded. He saw a spot and he's like, I'm gonna go take it. You know, he wasn't
Yeah,
like
he's like, let
watching.
me-
he wasn't
you
like,
know?
oh, this guy let me in. I'm
I,
gonna be nice.
I
Who
think
knows?
I
He
think he was
wasn't
trying
paying
to screw you
attention to
over.
I think so.
I
He's
think
trying to
so.
get the good
I
spot.
I think he was laughing as he was
That's
pulling
pretty
in.
cynical. I
sensitive.
don't think
He's
you
like-
guys are sensitive.
He's like, sucker.
I don't get mad. I
That's
hate that
pretty
parking lot
cynical.
It's
yeah,
bad.
awful.
It's
That's the
just
worst
a bad
parking lot.
parking
just because of the way
So
it's
bad.
set
It's
up.
bad.
But it's a lot of turnover there.
It is.
It-
Yeah.
You get a spot all the
Yeah,
time.
no, that's true.
Yeah, you just gotta wait. That's the thing is waiting in that parking
But you
lot
can't
is
wait.
awful.
You
Because
can't
there's
wait.
nowhere to
There's
wait.
no way
Yeah,
to pull
'cause
There's
over.
no
nowhere to really
space.
wait.
There's
Yeah.
no.
But
And
it-
if you
it's
and
a
if you
straight
go
through shot.
right, and if you go
You have
through,
to
you got all the way
do
around
a
the
loop,
neighborhood.
yeah.
Yeah, kind of
Anyway.
stinks.
Yeah, well, parking stuff. Parking
Yeah.
and whatever. Chronically late.
I'm chronically
my
late.
God.
Or like people who are.
People are
I'm
chronically
chronically
late.
I'm gonna get in a lot of trouble for this one.
You
don't
don't mind
care.
it. I
no,
don't.
I can't stand it.
Oh,
But
thank
I'm one
God.
of those people.
Oh.
now.
I'm one
Oh,
of those
really?
people.
Yeah.
I.
Wait,
It's
You're one of those people. What?
who doesn't like it.
Chronically late
I'm
And,
chronically
You're
late,
chronically
yeah.
late?
as a group.
He was late today.
As a group.
We were
Yeah.
late today.
Well, I told everybody I was
Not our
going.
group.
At least I tell people, and I wasn't late. I had someone else in my car that made me late. But I instantly
late.
told everybody, and that's my biggest thing. Oh my God! Don't I? We can just record about this for the next 3
Yeah,
hours.
he hates being late, but I'm
I
always
hate being late. I hate late people, and I have a friend who's a late asshole. I'm putting it that
Ooh.
way. He is the worst person in the world for it.
I hate when I go to pick somebody up and they're sitting on their stoop waiting.
You give me 5 minutes to tell my stories about my lateness, and then you guys
No,
can have this
I-
because I need to talk about this.
Yeah, I
I need
don't-
to vent.
I don't like it.
Chronically
vent.
late, I think it's a rude thing. I'm sorry, man. And
Can I
No,
please
I
tell,
admit
can I
it's-
please
I
tell a
admit
story?
It's a
Go ahead,
problem.
let's hear you.
Let-
I
story.
so-
can't help it.
Back in the day, when we used to have a football, we were on a football team, a bunch of my friends, and a softball team, and there was one person. We'd pick him up. The games were like 8, 9 o'clock, and I was always the one to pick him up. So I'd get everybody else. I'd get him at his house like a half hour before the game, give us enough time to get there, hang out, and I call him, and he's like, "I'm coming." Wouldn't come. Call him. I'm coming. Wouldn't come out. So like we were always late for everything, every game, like the third inning and the second quarter. So I started calling him on my drive to like I'm
Just
like
lie. Say I'm outside.
I'm outside, and he still. So I'd call him before I got in my shower, and like
Still didn't work
I'm
out.
on the way over, right? And he's like, okay, and then I'm like, and like in my car, I'm outside. All right, I'm coming. He still would. I don't know. Oh, I hate you.
Matt
I hate you.
Matt totally gamed me like that because when I was picking him up, we were doing work, right?
Yeah.
Work. It wasn't work for Matt. It was work for me. Matt didn't. It wasn't work for Matt. It was fun for Matt.
Well, it's fun for me.
I was picking him up, and I would get there, and it's like I'll be right out, and that took time. And I'm like, why are you not ready? Like you knew I was coming to get you at 8 o'clock. So then I started calling him earlier and earlier, but he just kept. He knew. He knew where I was.
He
calling
knew you were
from.
playing.
He gave me completely.
know.
man.
Well, I don't like that. I will say I
You don't like our
I'll
side
admit,
of lying?
I will admit.
Don't lie to him.
I will admit that I'm
Be on time.
chronically late and it's a problem, and I promise I'm not trying. I just don't know why. But I am late a lot. but I don't like being lied to. So my friends do that.
Don't be
too.
late.
They'll text me when they're not there, and I have windows in my house, obviously.
Do you not
and I
see
they're
the?
not there, I will purposely take longer to come
You're
out
an
because
asshole.
they lied
You're
to
an
me. I don't like
asshole.
being lied to.
Oh my
Don't
God.
lie to me. If you're gonna say I'm on the way, please be ready right
You're
at this
you're a
time.
dick.
I'll
because
try my
even when
best to hit that.
I told you the truth, like I would call you and say I'm at
Wow.
the top of the
No, he's
bridge.
saying he's gonna be late anyway.
No, I'm saying I'm
Is-
gonna be late anyway.
he is
but-
gonna be late.
But
If
I
you
will
lie, he'll
wait.
make it worse.
I will make it worse if you lie to me. I don't like
that's
being
just
lied
I
to.
call him today.
D-
I always
what's wrong?
call him.
Don't lie to me.
I always call him to let him know how far I'm out, so he gets ready. I call him today. I'm like, I'm 15 minutes out, and I get to his house, and instantly the door opened. I'm like, wow. Wow, I can't
That's my
believe
mom.
it wasn't. It was Gail. I was like, oh, and then he comes out like 5-6 minutes later. I'm like, and even up the block, I,
know-
was like,
well,
here.
listen. When he texted me, I was in the bathroom. Now,
I know a guy.
today at least. I was ready today, but I was. Just in the
We'd
bathroom.
be hanging out and he'd get a phone call, right? And he would tell the guy, you know, I'll be there in 10 minutes. But he's telling a guy I'll be there in 10 minutes that is like calling him from, you know, I don't know, like Mattatuck, Long Island. I'm like, you are never gonna make it there in 10 minutes.
It's like, it don't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
He's like,
I got plenty of
"Yeah, I'll be
time.
there." So I always know when I talk to him and he says I'll be there in 10 minutes.
You got time.
It could
You got,
it could
got
be
2 hours.
like forever because he's like, you know, everything to him is 10 minutes, but he knows he's
That's
nowhere
great.
even.
I-
in
You know what's
sight.
kind of funny though? Chronically late might be better than regularly.
because you know the person's like
Because you
that.
know they're always gonna
So
be
you
late.
know it.
So just you're like, I got an extra hour.
So-
Whereas a surprised late person, not one time ever, but if it's like every once in a while, that's worse. Because then
they're
that
all-
time you're like, what's going on?
they're
My
all
father,
bad.
your grandfather, not your grandfather.
I'll take them.
My father, when I take him to appointments, doctor appointments and stuff, he always pads it, and he never tells me because he thinks
Oh,
I'm going
for
to be
you.
late, and I'm never late for
I'm
him.
never late either.
I'm always early.
I'm early as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
He pads everything a half hour, and it took me a while to catch on to his game. Like what time?
Like
the
you get there and
appointment?
sit.
He's like 11:30, you know, and that, so I get to his house like an hour early, like
Yeah.
I always do. You know, I'm like, when you want to leave? You know, we can leave at like 50. I'm like, but Dad,
You're gonna be
the
late.
appointment at 11:30.
Like, oh, they
He said,
moved
well,
it.
it's really 12 o'clock. They want me there at 1:45, but I figured, you know,
I respect that.
Yeah,
I like that.
that's
That's a
messed
good way to
up.
No,
plan.
I do.
Oh,
It's kinda-
to lie, right?
yeah, but I would, you know, I wouldn't do what you do.
I-
I wouldn't purposely
You don't
be
like
late
being
for
lied.
him.
Well, listen. Stop
Do-
lying to me.
The other part I hate lateness is another group. Like we always do Friendsgiving, and like you know, it's be at the house by 1 o'clock,
Oh.
and these people always pop this certain person again. I don't know why I'm friends with him anymore. He's just always late. he always shows up at like 2-3 o'clock for everything, like for that, and Lee gets really annoyed. So I think it was probably the Thanksgiving before that. She's like, look, this is the time. Food is ready at this time. She used to hold it off for people. Now, like you're late,
Just let it go.
like you missed
Yeah.
it.
I think
You
that's
missed
how it should just
I think
work.
I agree.
Like you
I
missed
think if
it.
you're a late person, you have to accept the fact that you will miss things.
You're
And I
penalized.
will, yeah.
penalized.
That should be the only penalty. Because I was gonna say I
No,
don't really.
You're out of the friend group.
I don't. I mean, I've like thrown parties at my house and stuff. I guess people have come late. I don't honestly. If it's like a one-on-one thing, you know, if like somebody who I'm hanging out with and they're late all the time,
Right.
so every time I'm just like alone for a half hour or whatever, that would annoy me. But I really don't get annoyed by people being late. I don't like being late.
I don't.
You know what I
listen,
mean?
Like in that
But I think that's just
situation,
how it was brought
you,
up.
You make
I'm
the
just not
adjustment
used to it.
eventually. You figure it out because I do the same thing. Like,
Right.
obviously, I have a lot of people here.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I say 1 o'clock. I know people aren't showing up,
Right.
so I gave up on the idea if we're gonna wait and everybody
Yeah,
sit down
yeah,
together.
Just start.
because that
I
used
think
to
so
run.
too. Yeah.
But what does put pressure on you is if you're going to something that you have to be on time
Right.
for, right? And you know this person is like, you know, going to drag, right?
Mhm.
Like, was it the thing that we went to last year, the escape room? Like we had a hard start time. It was
Oh,
like,
yeah,
you know, you
yeah.
gotta start at 10:30.
Yeah, because you're out in an hour.
Yeah, and I'm like, man, somebody's not gonna show up. Like if we don't get everybody together rolling,
Yeah.
somebody's gonna be. That's pressure.
I was on time.
Yeah,
for
like if
that.
you have
Yeah,
something
exactly.
that's not in your control,
Yeah.
right? You know,
Mhm.
like waiting
Yeah.
for somebody to get on a plane. Like some people lollygag. I'm a 2-hour early guy.
I'm early
Yeah,
for
me too.
everything.
I'm early.
you know,
I'm
I'd rather go
early
sit at
airport.
that gate for an
Um,
hour, get
yeah.
a cup of coffee, and you know, like run in at the last minute. But some
Hurry up
people
and
just
wait,
don't
right?
care.
I,
Isn't
I
that the
the
same?
amount of times the amount of time I waste because I'm early.
Yeah.
Like if you had that by the time I'm
Yeah.
dead, I've lost a lot of days because I'm early. Like I had to be somewhere yesterday for 10:30, and it was an hour away. And I was like, all right, most people, this guy I'm talking about, would have left at 10:20. I left at 8 o'clock. I was and it said traffic was an hour. I'm like, just in case. I got there at 9 o'clock. Sat in my car for an hour and a half. I was okay with
I
that.
respect it.
I was okay.
Early's better than late.
I
for
was
sure.
late going to Johnny's the other day because I don't know how to get up in the morning anymore and get ready. I realized
Yeah.
Today was hard.
You
Yeah,
forgot how to
no.
live like
I
that.
just the timing was all off. I'm like, I kept saying to myself, if I leave at this time, I'll be all right. And then
Yeah.
I got up and I'm like, wait,
That's kind of
it's
what
an
it's
hour
like for
drive.
me
I gotta
every
take
day.
a shower, get ready. I forgot
You're
how
like-
to get ready in the morning. I made it.
I
Pretty
got
good
Doing
the.
too
I
bad.
have the fastest get ready time ever.
I'm
if I
pretty
don't
quick.
have to shower,
I get ready pretty fast.
obviously
Yeah.
assuming
I'm pretty quick
I'm
too.
in from waking up. I'm out of the house in 5 minutes.
I can do that too. My weirdness in time, I like to take a shower, and for some reason, between like completely getting ready after my shower, I like to just chill for an hour. It's like this body thing. I just
So
want
you
to chill.
gotta
I like that too. Like
Right.
when you're ready.
Right. Then I just
ahead
want
of
to
time,
chill.
yeah.
But if I need to, like if I can
Then
be
you
in
just
and
gotta
out
get
in
up
2
and get
minutes.
out.
Yeah,
Then
I
to-
can get. I mean,
If
2
my
minutes.
parents
Five
aren't
is
home-
probably
Yeah.
generous. I
If
could
my
probably.
parents aren't home, I could be out in less than 5 minutes. I could be up awake.
Well, maybe
and
you
out
should
in
tell
less
your
than
parents
5
not to be
minutes.
home more
Why
because
does that?
it doesn't seem to work for me.
But it,
Why does that block you up?
He's got to say
because
hi.
they ask me a bunch of questions before I
I
leave.
got
Sometimes they're in the bathroom, right? And then
They're in the
so
bathroom
it's a whole- yeah,
this-
like you gotta
Not
wait
at the same
for 'em.
time.
at the same
No,
time
I mean I have 2 bathrooms, so they're both in a bathroom, and then I have to wait
to say
for-
goodbye.
to go to go to the bathroom and then
Oh.
to say goodbye. And so then but if
Slows you
nobody's
down.
home, I could be out up
Your,
and out. in
your,
less
your
than 5
family
minutes.
seems like you're all on the same clock for the restroom.
But yeah, it's real weird.
Regular.
Regular.
God bless. So this is not a chronic. I mean, we can move on from chronically late. I want to look at.
You're trying to
He's
figure
trying
out
to
your writing?
decipher
He's
his-
trying to figure out the
No,
No,
right.
I
hieroglyphics
got
on the
all my
page.
handwriting figured out. But
He writes in
the
wingdings.
next topic was people that don't get back to you, right?
That's me.
You are
I
terrible.
do- I'm
You
that
are
bad
terrible.
recently.
I hate that,
That
as
is
well.
so annoying.
I gotta say,
So
since I
bad.
deleted social media, I've like my phone.
That
I've
is
not
bad.
been answering my phone. Like
Wait,
I
just in
haven't
general,
been
the two of
using
them
it.
in our chat.
Yeah.
Like,
That-
I
I got
hold
yelled
on.
at last night.
Hold on.
you got yelled at? Why? Well, I want
I
to hear
don't
his
wanna
story
talk
before
about
you
it.
tell. Oh no, you got to give the story,
You can
please,
tell it. I wasn't yelling.
before he goes into
So
his.
and for everybody listening, we post reels on Instagram, right? And TikTok when we can.
At
right?
on Angry Podcast.
Nice
At
plug.
I'm Angry Podcast. Good job. And I post a lot of reels, and I just ask people that see the reel to comment,
Absolutely,
like it, right? Follow us, all that whole thing.
we love it. We want it.
So
Which I completely agree
always
with. But he's like
ask-
going
hold
around
on.
networking to our family. I'm like, stop
Because
bothering
it's
everybody.
because
No.
it's,
It's
so
our- it's my
easy.
cousins.
It's so
No,
easy.
it's so easy.
It's
I
30
know.
seconds. I'm sure you guys spend a lot of time on Instagram.
I don't
Scrolling.
anymore.
Not
That's
you.
the thing.
I don't know why. Everybody's giving up social media all of a sudden.
Like,
No, I'm
we
on
could
it.
have an
There's several
episode
people
about it.
told
I'm
me
on it.
yesterday they gave it up.
We can have
I'm
an
on
episode
it.
about it. But
Anyway,
yeah, I gave it up a couple
so
months ago.
this makes me angry that you guys can't just comment and like it.
I can and I do. It's just annoying when you're peddling it. You know what
So
I mean?
for all the listeners out there that aren't related to me, can you show my family up and
and like and comment.
please like and comment
Crazy.
and do
And
whatever
if-
It's
else
like
you
it's an
can with our
unsupportive
reels.
family. Like,
And
it's
if you
the
don't-
most supportive family
And if
ever.
you don't, if Michael runs into you, he'll be sure to
He's
tell
just
you.
gonna say
He's
something.
gonna
Very
say
sensitive.
something.
It's gonna come up.
I only if you're family. I can't say anything to our friendly listeners out there, but
We love you.
Whatever.
So I got
Hey,
yelled at.
You know
I
what?
got yelled at for networking.
I wasn't yelling.
I'm just trying to get the algorithms
I,
going,
I
buddy.
know
That's
how
all.
it
You know,
works.
It's
I
like-
get the math of it.
I
Like,
see
get
them
it.
all sitting on their phones, and I'm
They're
like,
all,
can you just
they're
like,
all on TikTok and Instagram, but not doing what you ask.
him and my daughter screaming at
Don't
me.
have
Oh my
time.
It's
God, I was
annoying.
not
It's
screaming.
annoying. It takes 30
Whatever,
seconds.
You're being dramatic. Back to the.
I
idiots.
liked a lot of those posts. I signed into my account and I liked a lot of those posts.
See?
yesterday
I
for
like
the
all of
See?
them.
We need
I
comments.
do.
We need comments.
But
Anyway,
I comment. All right, whatever.
people
back
that
to
don't
the
get
thing.
back.
Your
to you.
next
I wanna-
comment's like, Dad, leave me the
Well,
fuck
the
alone.
point is,
I-
I put it out. I put it out in our group chat, and they don't even come
They
back.
don't
and
even-
say,
that-
okay,
that's the
or-
thing.
Look, I want to.
Whatever.
I want to talk on this.
I mean, Matt
okay?
is the busiest person in the world.
I want
right
to talk
now.
on this.
apparently.
Okay, I have a strong feeling about this because I am one of these people, right?
That doesn't get back.
But I think there's a.
You're
And
gonna-
look,
you're
I've
gonna
been
give an
around.
excuse.
It isn't. It's an.
If
Ex-
you're
I mean,
gonna
it's an
say- If you're
explanation.
gonna say what I think you're gonna say, I agree.
I have been around for before phones and now like a bit. I was a kid, I
Yeah.
mean, not a bit. I was a kid for a long time without a phone, right? Child, whatever. And back then, and I assume for you guys probably know the rest of your lives before then, right? There was no expectation that you had to respond to people all the time.
Yeah.
I have my own, and I understand it's like how long does it take to text back, but to me that's
I
not what
agree.
I'm doing. Like you texting me
Mhm.
shouldn't all of a sudden be like you have to respond to me or you're a bad person. I'm not expected to be on for anybody.
It's totally
100%
situation
of the time.
dependent. Last night I sent out a text. I was in a semi-emergency, right? I sent
Okay.
out a text to my two Mats.
I would have went.
One Matt got back to me, and one didn't.
I was sleeping.
You say you were sleeping.
I was really sleeping.
It's messed up, and it was a semi-emergency.
I know.
was
I
in.
know. I was.
No,
Listen,
it
if
depends on
that's
the
fun. If
situation.
I was awake, I would have went and got you. I swear. But
I know you.
I
You could've-
seriously was
I know
sleeping.
you would have. That's why we contacted.
You could have called me. I would have come get you. Always.
You would have had to eat a White Castle hamburger. That would have
That's
been the deal.
I don't think it
I'm
depends
your
on the
ride or die.
situation.
You don't think it depends on the situation?
That is phrased
I get.
as people not getting back to you. If there's an emergency situation and you're like, I need somebody who picks up the phone, completely different.
But here's the thing.
But not
I-
get, when I say not get back, like sometimes you don't respond
at all.
yeah.
At all.
That's crazy.
Like
Well, I
ever.
forget.
Like so I
So
could,
do it on the spot. You won't forget.
it's
But I
not
don't.
like
I should
I'm
not be expected.
in-
I don't like your
in this
analogy.
situation, I'm not looking for a 5-minute turnaround, but
Yeah.
I'm saying get back to me at some point.
I don't.
I usually do.
I don't like your analogy of the
Depends.
old days though. Like if you called someone they didn't answer, you know they're not there, so
But
you
it's not
can't.
an
re-
analogy.
or even like you left them a voicemail, you know they're not around.
No,
But
but
in
I-
today's world, you carry your phone with
I
you.
agree with
But
I
what
that
he's
doesn't
saying.
mean
I
that
know.
doesn't mean I now
Yeah.
have to
Like,
be
we-
accessible
I
to the
agree
rest of the
with
world.
No, you don't.
Regardless of
You
whether I'm
don't.
on
If
it or
I call
not.
you, don't answer. I'm not.
Regardless,
But a
I should have
text,
the
like it's
ability.
easy.
No, but
I know it's
agree
easy to
with
do, and I
him.
try to. It's just a thing that I like. If I'm doing something, I just do not feel like texting. Like if I'm look at it, I'll see it. I'll be like, I'll respond to them in a minute.
Right.
Whatever I'm doing, like if I
minute
just don't
never
feel
comes.
like, then a lot of times I forget.
I just-
All
I
the
just
time.
try to get back.
I just want to make one point about the old days before we let Matt jump in here. There were different rules in the old days. Because when we were out of the house, there was check-ins we had to do. And if we didn't do those check-ins, there was punishment associated with that.
Yeah, as a kid,
You know what I mean? But you know,
like to be
and-
safe, but not. You
But the
weren't.
rules have changed.
But people were not. There was no expectation
I like
of
to know.
accessibility.
Sometimes I'm just texting to make sure you're safe, and I just want to
No.
hear.
and that's I'm not.
I want to hear okay.
I'm not arguing whether or not like
I'm
that
just saying,
thing. I'm
people
saying
not
for
getting back
people.
to you.
I'm
Like,
taking.
Sometimes I send out an invitation, right? You know, everybody want to come to the house or whatever, and I don't get answers back.
That's the worst.
How do you plan? Like
can't.
you know?
Invitation, and you should.
And then they
That's a
show
different
up.
thing. That's an RSVP.
which is fine.
But the,
I know, but like, just give me a yes or no.
That's different.
Yeah.
You know,
RSVP is different.
Because both, and I'm not.
That's a
you know,
planning thing. That's
I
definitely different
know,
than get
but
back
so-
to me.
Okay, but it is get back to me.
Yeah, but
It is like I need to know. Like I
Yeah.
need to know how many.
yeah, but I
hamburgers
feel
to
like when
buy.
you wrote that down, you weren't thinking for invitations.
I
or
wrote
you
it
would have said
down
people
As
not
general.
Wrote it down
RSVP.
as somebody else
You're-
said.
You're
Matt,
using
you
that.
have a
No,
something to say.
I agree with what he's
Let
saying. I
Matt
think
jump in here.
I think just because you can immediately contact me doesn't mean that I have to answer you. But I do forget, like Mike. But
forget after,
I will
that's
say
true.
I will say another point that
You know
I
what
do
I
a
don't like,
lot,
Matt?
and I've wanted to do. I'll let you say that in a second. But I wanted to.
He knows what it is.
I want to start doing. I want to start doing more like reactions to messages because I feel like people don't get this feeling. But sometimes like. I treat a lot of texts like emails where like if you're just telling me something, I don't really feel the need to reply. Johnny gets mad at this at me all the time.
Yeah.
He'll say something, he's like, you never answered. But he'll like ask me to do something, I'll check it for it.
because you just want.
And he doesn't say anything.
And I'll do I know, and I'll
He doesn't
say
tell me.
and he's like, you never said anything. I'm like, well, you didn't like it's not a conversation we were
You just
having.
told me to do
And he
something.
said-
But I
and he's
don't know
like,
you
"But I
did
didn't know you
anything."
got the message.
Just want to.
And I'm like, but it tells you, it says delivered. You know what I mean? So I'm like, you know,
Yeah,
I got
but
the message.
delivered-
But
So I'm gonna start doing the reactions.
I'm
I'm
okay
gonna
with
start
reactions.
doing the like.
Thumb up,
You know, I'm gonna start
thumb
doing
up,
the
I'm
like
okay
the
with that.
message so that people know that I read the message. Because I didn't realize
that's good
like,
enough.
yeah,
That's
because
all-
I
That's
didn't
something.
realize
Some
because to me it's
acknowledgement.
like I'm not gonna respond if I don't feel like you warranted a response. You know, like if I didn't feel like you needed a conversation, I'm not just gonna say yes or okay or like you know what I mean. But I will start liking the message so that you know that I read
Yeah,
it.
please.
I just think people equate it with being ignored, as if I'm ignoring somebody,
Yeah.
and it's completely different.
It's not the same. man.
It's a whole different like method of communication that I
It's
don't
bad
think.
attitude.
I
No, you're saying it.
I agree with the
because
ignore.
You're taking it as
It's
if
not
I'm
being
sitting
ignored.
here.
I know it's not, but I agree with him because that's how because Lee will say to me, I'll text somebody and they'll answer, go, what do you so care? Like, they're probably busy. I'm like, it's in their hands. She's like, all right, calm down. I'm like,
That's
but
the
it's been
thing.
2 hours. Like
That's
3
the
days.
thing. No, but that is the thing because like some people, I'm not going to mention anybody's name, right? I'm not going to mention my sister. When I'm with her, she's always on her phone. Like she's on her
Yeah.
phone a lot. And then sometimes I'll text her and she never gets back. It's
That
silly
bothers you.
stuff.
Oh my
but
God.
in my head, I'm like, she's sitting looking
Yeah.
at that phone.
Yeah.
She has to be ignoring me.
See, that would irate
But
me
it's
because
not
like
ignoring
there are
you.
people.
It's not ignoring you.
No, it is.
You're taking an
Okay,
old
so you're
method.
looking at something else,
Although I
and then
don't
her
see her
brother
on her phone
texts,
that
and she's like,
I will say.
swipe,
but
goes back to it. That's ignoring.
sometimes-
That's
I
ignoring.
think so.
sometimes you
It's
gotta.
ignoring.
Sometimes, first of all, like I said, that just
You know why they're
just
fighting so hard?
the-
Because they're the ignorers.
They're
no,
they're
no,
the
I
ignorers.
said,
I
but
do
it's not
this.
ignoring.
It is.
You
Like,
can't tell
it
us
is.
how
what you
we
need
feel.
to, what you
Yeah.
need to, what you need to
I don't wanna
understand
hear it.
is,
You're
first
wrong.
Of all, first of all, the idea that you can feel ignored because I like I said, just
Matt's
because
getting psychiatry.
just
on us
because
right
you
now.
can contact me all the time doesn't mean that you are entitled to a response from me
Whoa.
immediately.
That is true,
Wow.
though.
aren't- but you
That is
aren't.
true.
You aren't just
That's
Just
what I'm
took-
saying.
he broke us all up.
But I'm
like
just
that
saying,
was
you
hurtful.
Aren't, you
That's-
aren't
That was
entitled just
hurtful.
because you
I
can
feel
reach
dumped
me.
right now.
You know?
So
And I'm
I
not
hope
saying
everybody enjoyed Matt's first 3 episodes. We're gonna look for a replacement.
what I'm saying is
No, see,
yeah,
I don't
it's
like
pretty
it because, like,
sensitive.
when
It's
I
pretty
text
sensitive.
Lee, she doesn't answer me. I don't feel ignored. I don't feel bothered. You know why? Because 99% of the time in the house, when I see her, her phone's in the bedroom and she's doing. So I know she never looks at that goddamn thing.
Same-
you
same
look
with
at your
my wife.
Yeah,
Same
you
with my
look
wife.
at your phone.
Her phone,
all
she
day.
never knows where it
right.
is.
But
Yeah, so no, I mean
my-
you're
but
ignoring me.
I'm not.
My-
You're
ign-
ignoring me.
You aren't
Ignoring
entitled
me.
to a
All right,
And you know what? Wait,
response.
So-
you know how I'm gonna show you back?
All right, so we'll be less sensitive about this.
That's it.
I do just want to say, in a scenario where you should be getting back to me and you don't, like if we know we're doing something. So let's just say, Matt, I'm coming to pick you up.
That's
in
a
the morning.
that's a good case.
And I'm calling and calling and calling. Then I finally got to call your father, and he wakes you up,
I was
and you
sleeping.
say to me, "Well, I had you on Do Not Disturb." I'm like, but you knew I was coming.
No.
To pick
All
you
right,
up.
all right, all right.
So that's
you explained
unfair.
that horribly. You
No,
explained
I
that
did
awfully.
not.
Okay.
I explained it
I like the
exactly
fact
as
that
it
he said
happened.
you had him on Do Not
you
Disturb.
explained
him.
it awfully. Okay?
Just him.
When I'm sleeping from the app, I turned it off now, so because you kept getting mad.
Wait, you turned your Do Not Disturb
But
off?
yeah, so
oh
I
my
used
gosh.
to have my phone go into
You heard
sleep
him.
mode from about 2 to I think 8, and he used to pick me up at 7:30. When it's in sleep mode, everything is on Do Not
Just- no,
Disturb.
just him.
It's not. I didn't have him on Do Not Disturb. I,
I
wasn't
was the only
ignoring
one
him.
trying to
Wait,
contact
I
you
wasn't
as far as I'm
ignoring
concerned.
But Michael, wait. In your defense, in Do Not Disturb, you can allow certain
And
people.
I did. No,
to-
I
Okay.
after that,
That's how I
So-
did
know.
I not
so-
immediately
Because he
after
allowed
that?
that.
Yeah, once I realized, because I wasn't thinking of it, because I don't, it's automatic. It goes on at 2 a.m. I'm not thinking about it. I'm asleep. So I don't know. And then when I realized that, oh yeah, I do, I added him immediately. He's one of the only people. It was you, my girlfriend, my parents, and him.
And me. And just a
That's it.
side note, on Matt's family. I guess I asked you one time, "Where's George?" I don't know.
I never know where he is.
He was home. George was home.
Never know where he is.
George was home. I think, where is he? I don't know. I haven't seen him. 3 rooms in the
I
house.
don't know where he goes. Well, I don't like check all the rooms before I
Well,
leave the house.
It's a,
No.
it's a very big house.
Sweep the house.
Like it's a regular sized house with 4
No, it's
people.
not,
You
yeah.
kind of know who's getting around.
But
anyway.
I don't know.
It's a side note.
But the problem was is they keep taking the different stairs up and down.
All right, so we won't be so sensitive anymore.
I'm still gonna be
But
the
if
same way.
there's something,
I'm not. But I completely understand.
no, it's all right.
You're-
Don't.
If
give-
it needs
I
a
know I'm not.
response,
don't
I'm
have mercy
saying-
on me. I shouldn't be so sensitive. You said.
Hey, baby,
I
man.
know. And it's funny because you did live most of your lives not being able to get in contact with people all the time. I
different.
can't
I'm
believe
telling
it
you, it's
changed.
different.
There's
And
a
you
thing.
immediately.
There was
Yes.
checkers. There was signals. There was places to meet.
Yeah.
There was a whole bunch of different rules.
There is
Oh,
this
wow.
thing. I don't know if you'd call it like a social theory. I don't know. I'd have to look it up.
boy.
No. It's a simple thing. There's an idea that in the city or cities versus like the country, right?
Yeah.
You have much less physical space,
Right.
so you build up this mental wall, right? That's why people in the train, people in New York do not talk to each other.
Right.
Right.
And I've heard that people from like the Midwest or whatever, they don't get that. They want to. We've talked about this earlier on
We lived in
different-
the South.
different
wasn't
episode
we?
in the South too. When people say hi, how are you? Everybody, right? In New York,
Right.
that never happens, especially on the train. Nobody talks
Yeah,
to each
yeah.
other.
Yeah.
Nobody looks at each other. And there's this idea that when you have physical space, you have this, I don't know what the word would be, but like a sense of
Openness.
Sanctuary.
personal, sanctuary, personal boundaries, whatever you would call it, so that when you see a person, it's a nice thing. Whereas in the city, you'd never have that. There's always a person near
Right.
you, so you build up a mental barrier, where you're like, I'm not talking. Like you're in your own world because you don't have this. It's just a thing that the theory part of it is that they think people need a certain amount of like sanctuary or personal
Right, right.
boundaries,
I get it.
and it's harder to do. We have a natural inclination to certain size groups and whatnot, right? And I think this to me feels like that, where I feel like I need some space.
We're not just
If I'm
strangers,
always
though.
No, but it's not.
It's
It's,
not about
about the
strangers.
accessibility.
I
that,
feel like a stranger
To me,
sometimes.
despite the fact that I have my phone on, that does not mean I have to
Alright, but wait.
respond to anybody who wants to talk
I
to me
want to segue
at any
because-
moment. I don't feel.
because what you're talking about. I think we could segue into the next topic because clearly me and Johnny are too sensitive.
Yeah. Clearly.
So,
Such babies.
the thing about people need their personal space.
Yeah.
People on the phone, right, talking with no headphones or on FaceTime.
Infuriating.
terrible.
It's the
Yeah,
worst.
that's infuriating.
Like first thing I can never understand if I'm getting on a bus at 7:00 in the morning, like what kind of in-depth conversation is this person having at 7:00 in the
That's-
morning with somebody?
I was like,
Number
Yeah,
one.
I'm half asleep.
On the
Number
other
two,
side-
why does it have to be blasted?
blasted.
Right?
Blasted. It
Of
has
course
to be on
not that.
speakerphone, whatever it is.
Terrible.
Like, yeah, it's
Terrible.
I don't even understand that. Like
Um,
it seems so far out of my like that I could never imagine doing it.
it's
on a
annoying
crowded-
everywhere. But
you
traveling
know?
to work, like on the
Yeah,
trains and
yeah.
buses, is where it really is
Yeah.
annoying.
And FaceTime is worse. Like there
Oh
was,
yeah.
Yeah.
a lady was FaceTime, and I wanted to jump in the conversation, but I'm like, because I was only getting one side of it, I couldn't see exactly.
Yeah,
what
yeah.
She
she
was just trying to get
talking
the actual story.
Well, I'm like, if they're gonna be that open
Well, that's what
about
I-
it, then
No,
let me
That's
yeah,
what I was gonna
FaceTime,
say.
You know,
yeah,
That's what I
let me
was
be
that's
gonna
the
part
say.
of it
worst.
then,
Yeah.
I see why people would get mad. I mean, like this doesn't bother me because I'm curious. So I kind of like to hear people's
nosy.
conversations and try and figure it out. I'm pretty nosy.
Yeah.
But I this is one of those like usually I'm like I don't even know why you're mad. This I understand why people get mad at. Like I don't because I feel like it's busy enough and there's always sounds and you gotta like tune them out at some point. But this is I could see why you would be like infuriated, especially
in
if
an
you can't,
enclosed space.
especially if you can't figure out the story.
No, I mean,
that's
like,
even more
sometimes,
annoying.
like the bus, you get on the bus and it's the same person every
Yeah,
morning.
yeah, yeah,
It's an
yeah. Always.
Talking on
in-depth
the phone.
conversation. Like, and
Yeah.
I'm like, what
Yeah.
the heck, man?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's
I know you
infuriating.
on the express buses. Like
There's-
some of the bus drivers are pretty.
There was almost a
strict
full
about it.
fist fight about
Yeah.
it on my bus one time.
Over-
One lady was doing it
FaceTime or just
just on the phone
okay.
and not speaker, but
Oh,
was
right, right.
talking.
Loud.
I mean, full like what I would consider more than full volume.
Right.
Because I wasn't even sitting that close to her, and I
And
heard,
you heard
her whole.
everything.
Yeah, I mean, I put headphones. I got on the bus. I'm not gonna say anything. She was already talking when I got on the bus.
Right.
I sat down a couple seats behind her, put my headphones in. I could like hear her murmur. To me
Right.
it was murmuring. She was talking very loud, and the whole bus ride in about 40, 45 minutes, give or take.
Wow.
But spoke literally the whole time. So then another lady was getting off. She was still talking. Close, the one who was talking was towards the front of the bus. This lady was getting off from behind, walked past her, called her some name. I didn't hear it. I had my headphones in.
Right,
This,
right.
this I just saw her walk by and like go like that, and then the other lady got up and got in her face, and then at this point I took my
You now you're
headphones off.
involved.
I was
Now
in.
you were ready.
You're in.
Now you're in.
and I was like trying to catch up on whatever, but they were in the middle. The bus was at a stop, like let people off stop.
Right.
The bus driver he didn't say anything, I don't think, but I looked because I was wondering what's gonna happen. There was two women up like in each other's faces. One was saying like, "You're lucky I'm wearing," like one was in like a dress suit. She's like, "You're lucky I'm in my suit. I like beat the f out of you." All this stuff, like like really fighting with each other. I was like, I wonder if the bus driver's gonna get him off,
Yeah, right.
And he's just like looking back at him. And I'm like, the bus isn't moving, and it was long enough that I think other people were like, all right, this was fun, but we also have to go to work.
We got to go now.
Like we're all here for a reason. We're not
Yeah.
we're not hanging out, Eventually it just kind of dissipated. I think another lady like who was sitting just like yelled at I don't know, one of them was like, just get off the bus, whatever kind of thing. It just evolved. But like they got off. The one lady got off and eventually, but it was funny. It was like I really thought there was going to be a
Well,
fist
I
fight.
want to
Open.
ask.
Go ahead.
I want to ask just because that brings up an interesting like counter. Does it annoy you if they don't have headphones because it's easy enough to make the choice to wear headphones, or just that they're like you don't think anybody should be on the phone at all?
No.
because you have to talk to be
Well,
on the phone.
there's
Like even
talk
if I have
low.
headphones-
Talk really
what
low.
I was going to
I've had
say
to take
was,
calls on the.
I've
like, I
taken-
had to take.
I
a call.
talk
I've gotten
really
called
low.
on the bus. I say
You have to
whoever it
whisper.
is. I'm like, hey, like I'm on the bus.
Exactly.
And I
gotta
hope
talk low.
most of the people who I'm talking to know that also means whatever you got to say or ask of me, do it quickly. We're not gonna have like this
Right.
isn't like a
Yeah.
meetup
Totally.
conversation. This is like you're calling me. I assume
Yeah.
for something. Say it,
Where's the butter?
and then we'll get. And then we're done.
Yeah,
and like I'll
exactly.
hang up. I can call you when I get off the bus.
Yeah, because I think to me it's a couple of things. Like I don't like there are certain situations where you just shouldn't be loud, right?
Right.
Because you could even argue that two people conversing loudly, like
Isn't-
that
It's
could
that's
be
annoying as well.
Similar.
That's
but,
why the
but-
teenagers are just talking.
But at
to each other,
least-
but they're screaming.
screaming.
At
at
least
each
you're
other.
getting both sides of the conversation, right?
Yeah.
So at least you could somewhat be entertained, right? You could hear what the other person is saying or whatever. But when it's a phone conversation, it's
Well,
unfair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other ones are music
It's
and
unfair.
shows.
Unless they
I,
FaceTime, then you could hear.
I don't want to hear someone else's music.
Yeah.
I don't want to
Music's
hear
great.
their TV show.
Music
on
is
an
a whole
enclosed
other thing,
space. I
man.
don't understand. Put the speaker off.
Just
Outside, I'm okay with it.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
there are people who walk around with a speaker in their bag, listen to
That's-
music. Outside,
Whatever.
they're walking
you,
past.
you, get a,
You're
you get a
outside.
minute of the music
Yeah,
as you're walking
it's
past. That's
past.
fine.
Right.
In an enclosed space.
Yeah,
Right.
and
It's-
I should
it's
have to hear it for
incredibly-
that long amount of time.
Right.
And again,
even one train stop. Is
Yeah.
a full
That
stop.
one I agree with.
Should we
I think
blame
more
Apple
than
for
the
this?
phone.
I mean, I try.
Because they stopped putting headphones like with the phones, right?
No. Yeah,
I don't think. No,
let's
I
blame
think
'em.
people just
Let's blame
aren't. They aren't really thinking. It's exactly what we're saying. It is. It's inconsiderate.
inconsiderate.
That's all
They're
it is.
just not thinking it through.
And
you
I
know?
think the
they're
music.
caught up in their own world.
is,
They're
yeah.
in their bubble.
I think the music though goes a step further because, like, if you're on the phone, because, you know, people they like to talk for their commute, you know, whatever. Like, and so you're on the phone, like I said, it's inconsiderate. You're not paying attention. You're not really thinking of
Right.
it. But when you have a speaker on the bus, that's not just
Like, you know
inconsiderate.
you're
Like, you
blasting
gotta know
You
that
know.
you're playing music for everybody. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's not like, oh, someone called me, I picked up the phone. I'm not really realizing how loud I'm talking or how loud it is. Like,
people
this
like
is like
that-
you have a
Like,
speaker.
you know the volume of it.
People like that are looking for somebody to get in their
Right,
face
right,
about.
I
it. That's
agree.
what I think. And
Right.
they just want to have the fight.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, so that one I think is even more understandable.
Like I said,
than the
yeah, I
phone.
mean, listen. Everywhere we go can't be a library, but you know.
It would be nice if
But it would be
No,
nice
but it's
if
not even-
There were
it's
certain
always-
times, and you know.
But you can always tell. I feel like I can, at least partially, tell the difference between somebody who like has to take a phone call and is just doing a normal, like, or is not intentionally, but is clearly an inconsiderate person who is gonna talk as loud as possible.
Absolutely.
You know, and not because like not to be inconsiderate. It's just who they are, and that's like that annoys me. You know what I mean? Like
Some
all of these things can be done in like sort of more. Any of these issues, I think, not all of them. I kind of am forgetting the first couple as we're speaking, but like I think they can all be done in parts, you know, a little bit at a time, like certain aspects of them.
yeah.
But like I think there are people who probably do all of them because they are inconsiderate and they lack
Right.
all this common courtesy.
Yeah.
So they do all of them all the time, and that's the annoying cases.
Yes.
You know, every once in a while, if I get a call on the train, or you know, the bus, whatever, I will pick up. I'll talk low though.
Right.
Yeah.
If somebody does that, like, so there's ways to do these
You're
things
just aware of it.
without
You're
being
aware of it.
Common
Some people
courtesy.
would-
Yeah, there's
Some
a
people
lack
just
of
not be
awareness.
aware.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Common
It's like this is
courtesy.
my phone call. I'm going to take it, and it doesn't matter.
And it doesn't
where I
matter.
And
am.
I'm not
right.
even just
Yeah,
aware of it
you
for
don't
other
care.
people.
You know?
Like,
Yeah.
especially on the phone, I'm aware because, like, I just don't want people knowing what I'm talking.
That's
you
the
know what
thing,
I mean? Like,
too.
that's
I don't
really
want
why I
anyone
talk
my-
low.
my
I don't want
personal
people
stuff.
knowing because I listen.
But you want to
I
listen to
listen.
everybody else.
So I
Exactly.
know people will listen because I listen. So I don't want people knowing my business. So
Exactly.
I just try to talk low.
All right. I think
we
people
going?
who aren't prepared. I don't know who's
Aren't. Oh, that was his.
whose this was.
He
Is
meant
this
aren't
yours?
like they're supposed to have something done. It seemed like a work related. I don't know if you were taking shots at Matt.
Did I say this one?
I'm fairly certain.
Seems like we're taking a lot of shots at that.
I could have swore. I
It's the
remember. I feel
episode.
like I remember if you saying it. It was they're supposed to have something prepared, and then you get to that day and they don't. Like I maybe you didn't say it like a work thing, but my immediate thought was either like, hey, have this have this prepared by
Right.
next Tuesday, and then they don't.
Well, that's
Something
not
for a
common courtesy.
meeting,
That's
right?
being bad at your job.
Yeah, that's true.
I,
I mean,
I
I don't
think it
remember.
can be
I don't
used,
remember
you know.
this
But
one.
it could be anything.
I think it
right?
could
I don't
be-
remember
that's
this,
like
but
a
it would
unity.
bother me
My
if you're
head-
if you're talking about like this. I can find again, like Matt said, I find anything to be angry about. But with this one, if I didn't write it, I'll agree with it anyway. Because what about you going on trips with people?
Yes.
And you get to their house. And like
And they're still
not, and they're still
packing.
packing. we had this book for 4 weeks.
Right,
What's
exactly.
taking you
What are
so
you
long?
doing?
And then, or
That's
they have
the
their
thing that
code.
immediately
And
came to my
on the
mind.
way to the airport, like, oh, I have to stop at the Walgreens. I gotta get my toothpaste. What? Like,
Yes.
what you do? Like,
Yes.
so yeah. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
mine, but I'm annoyed by it.
You know, I agree completely. I think unpreparedness. That's
that's
the
a
right-
word.
Is that a word? Whatever. But like
It
I
is.
get that would be annoying. I was just using work. I don't think it was meant as work.
Right,
It's a
right.
common courtesy thing. But it is. I mean, it's incredibly frustrating.
It is.
And I think that I usually am. I think prepared for like things. You know, if I'm active, but like a vacation situation. One thing that I definitely do that I think should be par for the course if you're gonna be unprepared. Because like when I pack, I do it in 10 minutes. If I forget something, it's forgotten. But I don't freak out when I realize I forgot it.
You gotta see.
I'd never.
You got to
but
see his packing technique.
It's incredible. It's incredible.
It
It's
is really
fast.
incredible.
10 minutes and I don't look again. So
It's
if
always
I
the same
forget
thing.
something though,
3 t-shirts.
You don't freak
I
out.
don't freak
shorts,
out and make
and
it
he's out of
everybody
there.
else's problem.
Agreed.
I don't. But
No, I know.
on the way, I'm like, oh my god, I forgot this.
No, I used to
I'm
be-
not gonna
I
be
used
like,
to
we
be
gotta
like
stop.
that.
Yeah.
We gotta go.
Well,
I'm
I'm
like,
a-
when we get where we're
I'll
going,
figure it out then on
I
my
will
own.
figure it
I'll
out
figure it out.
by
I'm a
myself.
big
fan.
But that's
I
the
don't
way-
need to.
Okay,
you know,
I respect that.
I think
That's-
should be part of
it should be.
because I do. I run myself into unpreparedness
So you-
because I hate packing
You might not be prepared, but you're prepared.
to
to
be
not be
unprepared.
Prepared.
Exactly.
Right. So
I'm
his
prepared to be
you're
unprepared. So I'm not
you're
gonna.
not inconveniencing the other person.
yeah, his
You know, like, I'll figure it out
impreparedness
as I
is
go
not
along.
affecting
No,
us.
I usually,
Exactly.
and in terms of going on like trips or like vacation, I usually don't forget anything. I like to, I pack. I don't pack like a lot of people pack way. in
You're
advance.
very light.
I pack the night before, just
Yeah.
enough. I pack enough for how many days I'm gone and one extra outfit just in case, and that's
Okay.
pretty much it.
Dang.
But I'm a big fan of.
Extra outfit.
I'm a big fan of when you get there. I like the first place you go to be a store. I love like
Okay.
like I always go to like
Is it-
Walmart
You get
the
like when I go
necessities?
away
Interesting.
because you get food, snacks. You
The
know, you don't like
necessities.
bring all that stuff. So and then because you're going to the store as the first stop, if you forgot anything,
can get-
Okay.
you can now.
I'm
get
all
it.
right
So
with that.
I like going.
Hey, once
like,
we're there,
when
you can do
get
whatever
where
you
you're
want.
Going, yeah, when
I
you get
can
where
leave you
you're
at the
going,
store and hit the beach.
Yeah.
I like
I'm
the
okay with
first
that.
place to go to
Just
be a
don't
store.
delay me.
That's
That's
what
it.
I don't like. If it's worse when then it becomes your problem for somebody else's
Right,
unpreparedness.
right.
That's
Yeah.
what I can't. I'm okay if somebody's unprepared. I mean, if it's like a work thing, that's different. Like we said,
Right,
You're
it's
just
a-
bad at your job.
or I don't know us. This is sort of a job now.
Right.
You
No,
know,
it's not.
but if you
No,
know, if
because
you're
we
like,
want you
hey-
to keep loving it, so it's not a job.
Right, but if we're like having a meeting, right, like a midweek meeting for our next conversation,
Right.
and it's like, hey, you have 3 ideas and I don't, like that, I could understand being annoyed, but that is more of a work environment.
Right,
to me.
right,
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 right.
right.
As far as everything else, it's never an issue if somebody else is unprepared and it affects them. I'm
Right.
like, that stinks for you.
Yeah.
You don't have underwear for this trip.
Yeah,
But like,
yeah.
do not now make me go out of my way and like take vacation time or whatever it is
To get your
to help
underwear.
your thing.
Right, right.
You messed up.
You messed
go to
up.
the store and buy underwear.
Exactly.
Or whatever. Like socks. I don't know.
I'll even take this one step further. I had gone to a house party thing, but it was an early thing. It started like at 1 o'clock, and I get there on time. So I am.
It's the right thing to
And
do.
I get there at 1 o'clock, and this particular person is still in bed. And I'm like,
Wow.
what's going on? So he's married, of course. So his wife's cleaning the house, getting ready for like, a bunch of guys. By like 1:20, everybody's there. He now gets out of bed, had to go to the store
Is
to
this the
buy.
same person? A late person?
That's crazy.
Had,
sense.
had to go to the
perfect
store to get stuff. Then we find out like he went to a comic book store and like I'm like, oh my god. So we're all there with nothing because he's like in bed, then had to go like very unprepared. Very-
Cross him off.
That's crazy.
Cross him off the guest list.
That's kinda nuts.
Mind
one's
you,
kinda nuts.
I won't be sharing this podcast with him until about a year in. Or at least
Good
not this
idea.
episode. Can we block this one episode being heard by him? Because
No.
he's gonna know this is all about him.
Oh, man. Yeah, no, it's not cool to be unprepared if you're causing someone else to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
not
the
good.
Yeah.
biggest issue. It's not
Yeah,
good.
But
that
I
it
would say
bleeds out.
majority of the time it just affects the person.
Yeah,
Like I would say usually. it
that's
does.
that would be my
Really?
thought.
Yeah.
I feel like unpreparedness affects all the people around you.
I think it
In
depends
what
on the thing they're
way?
unprepared
Like
for.
usually no.
Because if you're
Usually it
unprepared in your
doesn't.
own personal life, it's gonna flow into your personal, like your everybody around
But
your
as,
life.
so long as you're prepared, unless it's something like a specific situation, like you're going away together, or like it's something. Usually, someone else being unprepared doesn't stop. So, like for example, if over the summer, I went to Pennsylvania with my friends, and they wanted to walk the Appalachian Trail,
Right?
right? Now
Good
nobody
walk.
had told me this before I got there.
You should have asked me.
So I only brought you didn't know either. Nobody
I
told
would
me
know.
that they wanted to do this before I got there. So I only brought slides. I didn't bring real shoes.
Yeah, you can't do that in slides.
So I did walk a little. I think we only went like a mile or something. It was dark anyway, so it
Okay.
got dark as we were walking anyway. But
Okay.
Walking the Appalachian
Appalachian
Trail
Trail
at
at
night,
night.
isn't that like
It's
the
beautiful.
thing?
No.
It's so,
it was getting dark, and then we weren't really prepared for it. Exactly, we weren't prepared.
You gotta get out of there before the
And
skinwalkers show up.
And so I
Exactly.
feel like I ended up going, but let's say I couldn't because I was just wearing slides. They could have all gone. You know what I mean? So like it didn't affect them one way or another whether I was prepared.
His unpreparedness for the hike.
yeah, but what if one of them really wanted to hang with you and talk about it? Like you ruined their trip.
I guess so.
Say
I mean, I
If-
guess, but like they can
Yeah.
still if but then at that point they have to choose what they want more.
No, Johnny's
Yeah.
example was a better one. Your
Going
original
away
example.
makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah,
That
going away.
makes sense for
That-
sure.
of it
for
affecting
sure.
you.
That affected you.
For sure.
That affects you, but
Yeah.
I think majority of the time it
I
doesn't.
mean, you
is-
could
was
argue
what I
that
was
your
saying.
friends, didn't prepare
I know,
you
they
for
didn't
that.
tell me.
exactly.
I know.
Exactly.
and
So
that
it
could anger
affected you.
Like, why don't you guys tell me we're gonna go?
I
Yeah.
know. I did say that, but I ended up
You know.
walking into my slides anyway, so whatever. It was nice. It was a nice walk.
It would have been a lot nicer if you had real shoes on,
Oh,
and if you probably
that's
went when
true,
there was
'cause
more daylight.
My feet hurt a little bit.
You know,
but
you're not supposed to whistle
What?
in the Appalachian Mountains.
for the
What?
skinwalkers.
You're not supposed to whistle, apparently.
Really?
I don't know. Yeah, it's like a thing. I don't know. I'm just thinking
I'm
about the
gonna try
Appalachian
it.
Trail now.
I'm gonna do it.
A lot,
next
a
time
lot
I'm
of
there.
fun facts about the
I'm gonna
Appalachians.
try
You
it.
know,
Really?
it's apparently
show
it's
on
like
it.
the same mountain range as the Andes.
Yeah, it's huge.
It's just split from Pangea.
Huge.
It's older than like the rings of Saturn
Yeah.
or something. Like the
I
formation.
want to do the whole
Isn't that
thing
crazy?
one day.
yeah.
Me
How
and-
long is that?
It's a few days. Ron always.
We met a
We
guy
planned
while
it.
we were walking. He was going from
Yeah.
where we were to upstate New York.
We got. There's 4 more topics that we have.
Okay.
So you want to speed round?
Yeah, well,
them?
it's kinda
We'll give
Yeah,
every-
let's-
we'll
let's-
give everybody a couple
yeah.
of seconds
Speed
to
round.
talk
I love
on
that.
each
I
one.
love that.
All right. So the first one is not cleaning up after your dog. I mean, that's an easy.
No,
That's
totally
easy,
inconsistent.
terrible.
Slam dunk.
Yeah.
Man. People. just
Horrible.
like-
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's no good.
It's so easy. If you're gonna have
It's your
a
whole
dog,
job.
you should
It's the
just
only
know.
job.
It's your only, and there are people that really walk like they don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Literally.
They don't take a shit.
Yeah.
No,
No,
they don't. No, they
dog
don't take.
leaves
A, yeah,
shit.
they don't take
No,
a
the
shit.
people don't take a
They don't
shit.
take a shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. This one we could talk about this a long time, I'm sure. But people who ride the shoulder in the on-off
Oh,
lane,
that's bad.
That's-
or
Bad.
cut in at the exits.
I hate
That's
that.
the
always,
worst.
That's
I always
where I
block
think the
them.
bulk of
You know,
the
I always
camera
go
Me,
like
when we
halfway.
when we talked about on the phone with
Halfway
this,
over,
I
so
was
they
I think we were kind of into it, and you said you don't like the shoulder driving at all, and I don't like that. But I think more to me now are the people that are in the lane with you, and the on ramp comes, and they jump over the on ramp, go as far as you could, and then cut
then
back
go
in.
back, yeah.
That is the new thing, and that one drives me even worse than people on the shoulder, because those guys are doing the whole way, and they're assholes anyway. But that as you said many times, it takes a special person to be that douchey about things,
Right.
like how
Yeah.
you think how they in life. And I feel like if you're that guy in that lane
they're gonna
and
get
you
like
did
4
that,
cars ahead,
you're
right?
you're a
It's like,
special kind of douche.
Yeah, I
You
agree
know?
with that. 100%.
That's my feel.
100%. I can't stand either one, shoulder
yeah.
or that is
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
And it's such an intentional. Like, you know
It's-
you're doing.
yeah.
Because you know all the other common courtesy things, you can definitely hide behind the fact that like I wasn't paying attention, I was being
Right.
But you're driving a car and you're over the wrong white
Right.
line. Like you must
No.
know you're doing the wrong
And then
thing.
you're being an extra ass because when you're coming back into the lane, you know you've slowed everybody down.
exactly.
And now that's what's
Yeah.
causing
To beat
this.
3
It's
cars.
causing all
you
this
know
traffic.
What my thing about driving is always like people doing stuff like that, except for a few certain scenarios. Nothing is that important that you gotta
Yeah,
get there
to
that
get to.
fast.
Right.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And that's
Oh,
what I
no.
learned.
If your
That's
wife's
what I learned
giving
when
birth.
I was driving
Right.
for
You
work
know.
all the time. That's what I learned because at first I would try and go fast, go a little bit over the speed limit. I'm not cut people off, like I wasn't being a jerk. But then I started to realize
You
when
never
you're
get
stuck
anywhere
in
really
traffic,
fast.
you're
If the
stuck
thing
in
No,
does-
but
it
not only that,
doesn't matter.
what you say is it's probably one of the wildest things my father ever taught me, and he proved it one day. I used to be a really, really fast driver when I was young. I was like, I try to hit hundreds plus, right? And of course, he knew this, and he was always worried that I'd crash and kill myself. And he's like, "Do you know if you drove the speed limit compared to that, like if we did it, I'd get there like 2 minutes earlier than you." I'm like,
Yeah,
"No,
it's
bullshit."
true. The
So
math's
we
crazy.
did it one
Absolutely
day,
true.
and I
It's
drove
true.
my speed. I think we went to the island. We went like an hour. You never hit traffic, which is rare. And I drove my speed, and he drove the speed limit. And he got there like a couple minutes. I was like, and he's like, "So what's your point of racing?" I
Yeah,
was like,
that's what I'm
ever
saying.
since then,
Nothing is
I
that
do
important.
drive fast, but I don't drive like that
Yeah,
anymore.
you know what's actually messed
So-
up about that? I saw this recently. There's a funny. It was like a breakdown of why it was to discourage people from speeding, right? And it's an incremental gain thing. So at 65, normal speed limit to 80, you're not actually getting that much faster over the course of time. But from 25 to 50, you're having your speed. So the thing was supposed to be don't speed,
Right.
But all the comments were, oh, so you're saying go
I should go
80 in a 25 and drive 65 at 65. Like on the highway, drive 65, but in a 25, if I go 80, I'll actually have my time. Like, I was like, that actually is good math.
Wild.
Like,
That's
oh, so
what-
if I'm going in neighborly, I should speed.
Should-
I actually save a ton
That's
of
always
time.
my thing. It's like-
Highway, go 60.
You're so misguided if you're speeding like that because you're not getting there any faster.
Now, now with the GPS, you could see that you
Yeah.
don't get it.
You don't.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
yeah.
don't.
Starts out at a certain time, and no matter what you do,
Yeah.
it might drop a couple of minutes, but it's
I-
gonna be
I
made
went-
up
I went-
somewhere else.
I
You
went
can
30
definitely-
miles over the speed limit today, and I shaved 2 minutes off my
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and to skip, do the shoulder, that,
It's
cut,
not
cut
saving-
around.
it's not saving you
It's-
any
No,
time.
I'm
That's
never
not
saying-
saving you any
Nothing
time.
is that
Saving you
important.
anytime.
If you're not heading to the hospital
Yeah.
you shouldn't
for any
do it.
reason, you
Right.
should not. There's no
That's
reason.
what I'm
100%.
saying.
If your wife's giving birth or somebody got hurt and you're trying to fly,
Right.
I understand the idea of like I'm gonna do anything I can to get closer.
But
Right.
not everybody.
It's slowing you
course.
down. It's still a bet.
Right.
I don't think I'd do it even if I was because my thought is it's not actually you're not getting there faster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I can understand at least the
logic
feeling
behind
as
it,
opposed
yeah.
to
Right.
normally I'm just like that guy's just a complete asshole.
Right.
You know, he's
100%.
just doing this because he's like, I don't want to wait
I don't
behind
wanna
these
wait.
3 cars.
Right.
If you're like, I gotta get to the hospital, so every 3 cars is 3 cars
Yeah,
closer.
that-
all right, but
that's where your
I'm saying
brain's
that's
at.
the only
I-
one that is at all excusable
I agree.
in my mind.
I agree.
Of
No,
like,
that's what
okay,
I
I
said,
get it. You
except
know,
for
if
a
I see them
few
flying and they're
select
like
scenarios.
screaming on the phone, I'm like,
Yeah.
maybe, you know.
Absolutely.
All right, so there's 2 more left on the list.
Let's go quick. That we got bogged down, but that's
That
all
one
right.
was
That's
a-
big one.
that was a
We
good
should've done
one.
that one
Speaking of
earlier.
We only started the
But we
speed
should-
round I think 3 minutes ago.
Yeah, so-
Really?
Yeah, we're doing. I think it was
You guys are rolling
123
on
when
that.
we
We like that
Well,
one.
listen, there's
That's a
2
good one. We
left.
should have done that earlier.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We have this thing listed as bare feet on a plane. right? Which bothers me. Like I think bare feet.
Just gross.
I just don't want to do it.
Bare feet, no socks. You mean?
Bare feet, no socks.
Bare feet.
Talking about it now.
No, because some people say bare feet, no, like socks.
They're
I'm
wrong.
like, we
Yeah, I
shouldn't
know.
talk about feet probably because it's a big fetish thing.
Yeah.
But in general,
What?
What?
no, it's a big thing. Feet is a big fetish thing.
No, but what does
Not
that have
for
to do with
me.
on
Yeah,
the
but we're not-
plane?
Yeah, what are you
No, what I'm saying
What
is,
are you talking
like, you guys are missing the point.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I did
I'm
miss
like,
the point.
like you could talk about feet, right?
Yeah.
But it's like a fetish thing, right?
Oh my God, the way these two
Yeah,
are looking
yeah.
at you.
There are.
But you're
a
saying,
foot fetish
what
is
does
a
that have to do
thing.
with the
I don't.
plane?
That's what I'm saying. It's not like that's not a good topic. Was my point?
Oh.
Because there are
You
foot
wrote it
fetishes. I
down.
don't. What's the foot fetish part?
Wait, but you wrote
You
it
brought it
down.
up. What do you-
Wait,
You
so you
wrote it
guys aren't aware that feet
No,
is a
I
big
know,
fetish
but I
thing.
don't understand what it
Right?
has to do with
I
why you're
know,
angry
Mike.
at them.
What?
Why does that-
What does that have to do with the topic?
Because it's bare feet.
So wait, hold on.
Because you could argue, you
Oh.
could argue that there's good bare feet and then there's bad bare feet, and then it becomes a fetish thing. And I'm like, maybe we shouldn't
That's
talk
not
about
what
this.
we're saying, though.
I
We're
know
saying it's not
what we're
cool to
saying.
do.
Right, it's not cool to do, but it's even worse to do if you got ugly feet. Right?
I don't. That was
What
not.
does that mean?
That was not the intention behind that.
All right, so hold
The
on.
thing wasn't
all right, so hold
ugly
on.
feet.
All
It
right,
was
so,
feet.
so stop. Okay, so hold on.
And it was on the
So
airplane.
hold on. Okay,
So
so
my other mic's okay with your feet if
So-
they're,
If they're nice
if they're
feet.
bare.
What does that
yes,
mean?
exactly.
How do you rate them?
If it's sexy feet over there and old beat up feet, he's gonna tell that person put their
Put
shoes,
shoes back
on.
on.
Okay, whatever.
I'm saying, like, bare feet don't belong in some places.
Unless
All right,
they're
let's say-
sexy.
let's go bare feet on a plane. I don't like that. Because I especially don't like it because people have a tendency of putting their feet up on a thing.
Yeah.
Right? Have you
Yeah.
ever had a foot
Oh yeah, on the armrest,
Have
like
you ever-
just
next
tuck-
to you?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you're like,
Like,
or
and you-
or
like it's
sneak in
wrong.
between the seat,
Right.
and then you.
That's
I've
what I'm
had
saying.
that
That's
too.
what we're saying.
Because all the expensive.
But when they're sexy, I'm all right with it.
I would say I would
like
That
I
was
would
such a
say-
weird poll, man.
No, because you guys
Like, move up
I figured we'd
closer.
start rolling into a whole. No, I think we start rolling into a whole feet thing.
No, here's how I'll
we're not.
separate it. Here's how I'll separate it.
Separated, man.
All right, listen. Here's how I'll separate it.
Well, you guys
I
are
don't.
like
I think
children
if you're
today.
just gonna have bare, if you're just gonna have bare feet, no matter what they look like, because I don't even know how you
They shouldn't be
quantify
bare
how
feet
good.
on a plane.
They could be bare feet, but putting
you're
when
okay
you
with bare
said
feet on
you
a
said the problem is they tend to put it next to you or whatever. That is inconsiderate. Like that's lack of when you know somebody's in front of you, you're putting your bare foot next to them. I don't think not having your shoes on, like not just having your not having socks on either. I don't think that is really
Well, there's
like
an
that
obvious
big of a
smell
deal.
issue. If the
Yeah,
feet
you
depends.
can have
Potentially.
smelly.
if they
and
don't,
you should know if you
okay.
have your
right.
feet
It's just
smell.
generally gross.
I think it's
It's
just generally
gross.
gross. That's
Yeah.
my thing. I think it's
People are
just generally
walking across
gross.
that floor 100 times a day.
Well, the
Yeah.
stuff
And
that's
I
on
don't-
that
Shoes coming
floor.
off the street.
Me personally, I don't know what the opposite of a
Put a
foot
pair of
fetish
socks
is,
on.
but I have that. Like I don't like feet at all. I don't want to see them.
Foot phobia.
I'm not scared of them, but like I don't.
You don't want to see feet.
Yeah, it's just like
Yeah.
put shoes on. Or socks, even
Right.
at least. You
Socks,
know, like
definitely.
bare feet is just weird to me to be out. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
in an
I agree.
environment
I-
in which
That where
they're
it
not
doesn't
like
belong.
not at the beach, whatever. Like
Right.
So I'm
Obviously,
kind of like
like,
you
I'm not
about
putting shoes
myself.
on.
Like I hate my own feet, not whether they're nice or not. I just
like-
don't want. Like I don't like wearing slides,
Mhm.
walking around bare. To me,
Right.
I'm like
I wear
I don't
slides
want.
with
I don't
socks.
want to see my feet.
Right.
I don't
I
ever
wear-
want to see
I
my
wear
feet.
slides
So I
with
definitely don't
socks
want to look
on.
at strangers' feet
yeah,
all over the
it's
place.
just which I mean I get the personal side of that. Like that for me, it's just kind of gross and a
And
thing
we
I
know
don't
some
want to
people.
see. But
We know some people
love 'em.
love them.
Some people
Too
may
much.
love-
Some might say.
No, I don't love feet. I don't like feet.
We're
at
gonna
all.
listen back to this, and
did
I
say
feel like you're gonna
good-looking
get
feet.
where we're coming from. That it was just like we're talking
And
about,
we're not gonna cut it
we were
either.
talking about bare feet on a plane. You're like, well, there are foot fetishes. Like, I don't-
Why? Because I was worried you guys were gonna riff into something.
you were worried
That
we
was
were gonna
my-
get into foot fetishes.
You guys go off on tangents all the time.
But
I
not
sit
about
here
how
and listen.
nice.
Don't put this on me. You said it.
You said it.
But you guys came back and said just now, you don't like feet at all. You don't like feet. Matt said something about feet. Everybody has a
But I
feet.
said it's
We're talking-
inconsiderate. If
It
you,
doesn't mean you have a fetish.
you brought up the.
All right.
All right,
Let's
what's
move
the
on.
last
Round out
one?
the speed
What's the
round.
last
Let's,
one?
let's,
Shot.
the last speed round. That's not a speed round.
Fast food drive-throughs.
That's it.
That's it. That's the last topic.
I love those.
No, well,
No,
there's a
no,
couple of things.
I
There's-
don't
there's
like-
the communication.
The communication sucks.
Oh,
what I
that's
don't
good.
like more is when the people don't know what they're ordering,
Oh,
and they
terrible.
their line sits
Terrible.
up so long.
That's crazy.
Especially
And I see
when
them
there's a
sitting at the order
pre-menu
thing.
at most places. Have it down.
Listen,
I
agree
slow
with
roll
that.
into the
I
driveway,
just
making sure I have my
refuse-
full car's order.
I know you're gonna say you
Before I
refuse
get
to
there.
order. You just do everything on
no,
the app.
Well, that too, but no, I refuse to
Kids these
believe
days.
that people don't know the McDonald's
I
menu.
feel-
I refuse.
it's
I
not
refuse.
that-
I can't
Like, yeah,
believe
it's like your
it.
first time
I
at McDonald's
cannot
ever.
believe
I
it.
know.
People will stare and they'll be like,
My
there's
thing is,
no
I feel like
way.
almost everybody goes to a fast food. It's not their first time, right? It's
No,
rare.
like,
But
how
everybody almost has like the same thing you eat
Like,
from
that's what I'm
every one of them.
saying.
When I go to
Yeah.
Taco Bell, which I did last week and I showed you a picture of you, I knew exactly what I was getting when I got
Right,
to
that's
that
what I'm
window.
saying.
It took me a half a second.
had to
now,
drive to the
now, if I
place.
went to White Castles,
You wouldn't
I've
know
never
what to
been.
do.
I
It would
wouldn't
take
know
2
what to do
seconds.
to.
Right.
But it's not going to take me
But
very
that's
long
different.
either.
You can figure it out.
I can
That's
figure it
different,
out.
But not
And
every,
they got pictures, you don't
every
They
even
got
have to
time-
read.
pictures. I don't.
Every time you go to the drive-through can't be. It happens to be the person in
The
front
first-
of you's first
right,
time at the
exactly.
fast food restaurant.
Taco Bell used to have the most confusing menu.
Yeah,
Right?
it was
They-
just
they
complex.
cleaned it up a
Not
lot.
counting Sonic. Sonic
and it all
looks
tastes
like,
the same too.
Sonic is confusing.
Sonic looks like you're in a jet.
Sonic, I understand, but you have the time there. You know, you
That's
go
true.
in,
You're
you
in
have
your
your
own
own
little
little
thing.
You press
You're
the
in your
button
own
when
thing.
you're ready.
Yeah,
You have the
You
time
have the
to
time
read
to
a
think it
complicated
through.
menu
Taco
there.
Bell
It
was-
did
was
have.
tough.
It had like
Yeah.
the most options, which is funny because it's
Yeah.
all the exact
It's
same.
all the
food.
That
same
is.
food.
It's just a different
Just
cover.
remixed.
It's
Just
just a different.
remixed.
It's
Some
like,
flat,
which
some round,
Which
some-
kind of tortilla do you want?
I
you know?
also don't like
Something else.
about drive-throughs, and I don't know how to even, like, what do you call that? Remedy this complaint. But I hate when they make you go to the side and like,
Oh,
you
like
know
your
what I mean?
order's too big,
Yeah,
go
like,
pull
you gotta
over.
wait. But like sometimes
just
it's
to
not
speed
big.
it up.
Sometimes
Just
it's
speed
just
it
a
up.
regular order.
It's for them to get their numbers better.
And
you know?
then I just
Yeah,
feel
so
like
it's a
Because
through
there's a
rate. 'cause
counter
there's a
there by that
camera.
window.
Yeah.
It's a
just-
counter.
So it
there.
slows down
Oh.
the McDonald's. Like
So
let's
if
say
you-
McDonald's.
It's like you pull the
they
red
have a
orders
rate.
over.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Let's get their numbers
it
down.
just bothers. Like I feel like the drive-through it's supposed to be so easy, and then they make you go over to the side, and then you gotta wait.
I don't
Yeah,
go through
yeah,
drive-throughs as much. I want to. What's up with the second window? Does that really work? Like where you pay first?
I don't think
Like,
it speeds it
usually
up
do
at
that.
all.
I don't think it does anything.
I don't know
either.
why
Oh,
it
I don't
became
know
a
why they
thing.
do
I don't know
either.
why.
It probably.
It's
I mean,
probably just so
in
they
a
have
sense,
a
it probably does.
compartmentalization.
Yeah.
Well, no, aren't you not supposed to handle money and food? Because when I worked at the
Oh, that
concession
would make
stand
sense.
at the baseball
Oh,
really?
field,
Well,
they
it's
said
dirty.
they said
Oh.
you can't.
Touch
You know,
money, then
one
touch the
person
food.
does the money, one person does the
Okay.
food. You
But
can't.
they're not
eat
really
both.
handling the food.
Yeah, it's already in a
They
bag,
get a
kinda.
bag
Well, I'm
and
just
then-
saying.
probably-
I guess on principle,
And a
like,
credit
that's how
card.
kitchens are supposed
I-
to work.
I
You're
think
not
it's a-
supposed
it-
to eat
right,
with the
yeah.
money.
It probably
and
does
But that
speed
makes
it up a
kinda
little
sense.
bit.
Maybe it might.
Yeah.
Might do something.
Just to compartmentalize in general.
Could
Just
just
one
be
person's a food guy.
psychological thing.
One guy's
Could
the
be.
order guy.
Yeah.
I get it. You know,
That
like,
whole thing, the smoke and mirrors
yeah.
stuff.
Well,
that
because
they
also
do.
a lot of times if you go anytime past like 10,
They just make you go to the
close the
left.
first
It's
one
the-
anyway.
it's gone.
So it ends up being the same.
Yeah.
Right.
But when they're both in use, I don't notice like I don't notice if it's faster for me.
Right.
If you would have spent,
But
you know,
it's also not slower.
if
so I
you
don't
would have
care. I'm
spent
not
a
mad
minute
Right.
at window number 2, right, paying and getting your food, you spent 30 seconds at one, 30 seconds at another. It feels
It's
faster
about-
to you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you think it
Oh,
feels?
right.
I don't.
That's
I
the same thing now, like with the multiple
because you're
drive,
moving.
the multiple
The multiple
ordering,
lanes,
and
and
then
it
you
still
all just
goes into
merge
one
into one.
anyway.
It doesn't make it faster.
That's like
but I
the
think
Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A, I think, not started it. I don't know. The first time I ever saw that was a Chick-fil-A down south. A couple of them have it.
what the merchant
Wait,
lane.
no, there's a double. Yeah, there's a
Double
double
line.
order
Oh,
lane.
yeah.
But theirs is perfect because they tell you when to go. It's not like a
Right,
merge.
right.
They
Yeah.
have order.
Oh, yeah.
So
You
it's-
wait.
it's
If you
Chick-fil-A
get it in
one?
first, like if you order it first and it's completed, they say, okay, you go
Right.
ahead and they hold the other
Chick-fil-A
one.
does so because
Which
they
is
also
perfect.
do,
Theirs is
which is
great.
I don't know if
They
it
have
helps
people
too.
outside.
They walk the line with it and they take your order
That's how they do
prior.
it.
And I
But I
think-
think that's because they're making sure it's prepped by the time you're
Yeah.
like you know.
I think In-N-Out does that too, right?
I don't. I don't know.
Yeah, we went.
I went a
In-N-Out
couple
when we were
times,
in
but I don't
California.
remember. And I
went
don't
to
think
a
I don't think I did a
drive-thru
drive-through.
in
I
and
feel like
out
I always went
to
in
was, yeah.
because
was
we were
the
like
restaurant.
taking a trip to California. We never.
Yeah,
called.
I never went to.
Mike, I don't
I
think
just
your
don't
speed
remember.
rounds are really speed rounds.
No, it's you guys. You guys go off on tangents. I said fetish, and you guys got all giddy. Fetish, fetish, fetish.
You're gonna hear that again, and you're gonna.
It was
get,
weird. It
I
was
was
weird
hoping not to
timing.
hear
I
it
don't
at
know
all.
why you said
That's why I
you
said
brought
it.
it up.
Why would we
I
bring
just,
up?
I just felt like it was going to go into that. I don't know. What's wrong with that?
That, the
This was
actual
just
wrap-up.
a list of things we came up during the week, things that we felt were common courtesy items that, you know, in everyday life people could pay more attention to
Yeah.
and make, you know, I guess everyone's world a little bit better, right? But I guess they don't. So
They
anyway,
could though.
thanks
They
for
could.
listening.
They don't.
Please like, follow, comment. If you want to send in any suggestions for topics that we could use.
I'm angrypodcast.com.
Yep. And thanks for listening.
Stay angry.